Morning guys. Did have a stroke, yeah, but there we go. British Airways, somewhere a little bit different. I can't do the same thing all the time. Top of the morning from cloudy is that dyslexics at Azerbaijan, or are you in somewhere completely different, right? Confused with a bloody headset. Morning guys. Did have a stroke, yeah, but there. Let's turn that off so I don't hear myself twice. That's good. Right, there we go. So back into the sim. So yeah, there we go. I was going to say to I just closed YouTube now. I was going to say to anybody want the OFP, but you don't really need the OFP. Yeah, so we're going to give it another go. Last week seemed to be good. I checked the rolling cache. I've already had a PC reset today. It's already thrown a wobbly over something. I don't know if it was a sim. I was going in to double check the control options, because I move my joystick and my thrust levers around depending on what I'm doing, so I was just sort of replugging those in and changing the sort of profiles and stuff, and the PC just reset. It wasn't going to crash the desktop, so it's already had a few issues this morning, so we'll see how we do. And also going back to Heathrow, so we're doing something a little bit different, going back to the UK rather than leaving the UK this morning, because it's nice. I can't remember who makes it, but the nice Palermo scenery down here. On a lovely day. Let's turn you off as well. I can hear you on the iPads. That's it. And ships that aren't moving, but a little bit of scenery. And yeah, if we'll go back to the UK, you never know, might have a little bit of ATC as well. So I think I'm all set. I'm doing this ever so slightly differently to normal as well, to what I normally do. Just in the sense that pretty much the aircraft's all set up. So we're all good. We're still fueling, I think. Yeah, fueling's being done. Passengers are boarding as well, but basically all the boxes set up, so I'm not really going to do too much. I'm not going to walk through all this, because pretty much everybody knows how to set a box up already, and if you don't know how to set the box up, then you shouldn't be flying the aircraft. But this is all done. I will brief this and walk through this in a minute when we do brief, but it's basically all good. Time of departure is filed from the hour, so 25 minutes, so enough time just to get passengers on and do the performance, do the load sheet, etc. Have a quick look at the charts, what we're going to be doing. I've already made a decision on the fuel. Weather's generally pretty good everywhere. En route should be pretty good. Maybe a few CBs up near London. But it's not going to affect us too much, and it's probably going to be 0.9 I think as well, because I think the wind's coming around from about 0.40 degrees later on in the afternoon, so it's probably going to be 0.9, probably 0.9 left I'd imagine in Heathrow. So I've put a little bit extra just for a bit of weather avoidance. Contingency is pretty good anyway, but I've gone 9.5 tonnes. We had a pretty decent underload, 5 tonnes, so we've got the space there to do that. So I've gone 9.5 on the fuel, and there wasn't really any NOTAMs that were going to affect us, sort of loads of cranes, but yeah, so that's it. So we're just really waiting for the passengers now to get on. And I probably should have put this on really, shouldn't I? This probably should have been off, but mind you, BA don't worry about this. Turn the temperature down a little bit because it's a bit warm. I am knackered as well. I will just add that caveat in. I got in the house at about 3 o'clock in the morning last night, or this morning, so I'm pretty bloody exhausted. It's been a pretty disruptive week. I've not actually done much flying, funnily enough. I've just sort of, gone out of hours, not done things, done long flights, and then not done the next day. So I haven't actually been that busy, but it's just been one of those weeks where it's just disruption after disruption. And then of course I got back really late last night as well. So, hey Ryan. Barry, Abbey Dash, largest city of the Ivory Coast. Okay, yeah, so you won't be dyslexic. Fair enough. Before we start, can you show your sensitivity settings? Yes, Crumpet, I can hopefully do that. Hopefully it won't crash, because this is what happened earlier where I looked at something and then just the PC reset. So if the screen dies in the middle of the stream, it's probably that. What did you want? So the side stick, I'm guessing, was it? Yes, side sticks for sensitivities. So there you go. What's that? That's pitch. The X. Oh no, hang on. Is that? Sorry, X is roll. Y is pitch, isn't it? So yeah, I've got it pretty flat. And the reason it's sort of, I mean, this sort of simulates the roll rate because in normal law the side stick is commanding a roll rate. So the more you deflect it to one side, the more roll rates you get. But it is sort of, it's not quite linear. I don't think it's quite linear, but I mean that seems to sort of do a pretty good job of it. So you know, you've got a relatively nice sort of bank, you know, if you just sort of turn in the side stick a little bit, and then obviously it gets a bit more aggressive the more you sort of turn it, which is, you know, basically how it works in real life. In terms of the pitch is pretty linear, but there's a very small dead zone there, and there's probably ever so slight curve. But I mean, this seems to work for the Phoenix model. I haven't really tried in the fly-by-wire yet, but in terms of the Phoenix model, I find this actually for the pitch certainly it does sort of replicate it quite nicely. So yeah, those are the sensitivity settings. These, I can't remember what these are. These are probably the, oh yeah, that's the sort of slider, the little throttle thing on the joystick, which I don't use for anything. That's the nose wheel steering as well. So again, it sort of simulates the nose wheel steering. I'll come back to this in a second, but I'll show you the actual tiller if it's got the markings on it. But again, the tiller it sort of progressively gets more and more aggressive the more tiller input you get. So again, it's a little bit flatter at the start, and then it sort of gets a little bit steeper towards the ends. Sort of effectively, the more you twist the stick, as in, you know, replicated, the more you twist the tiller. But again, that's pretty good. So I mean, you know, the tiller's pretty straightforward anyway. But yeah, so there you go. So that's those. Let's go back to that. Let's just make sure the time's resets. 10:36. Is it 10:36? Yeah, so it's a couple of minutes behind. There you go. I think it's 10:38. It's a couple of minutes close enough, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. So you can see the tiller. So the first sort of, I don't know, quarter, third is only 10 degrees nose wheel steering either side. So, you know, that arc there is 10 degrees, but then a similar arc size, I mean, it's a little bit smaller, it's then like 20 degrees, and then you've got like another 20 degrees and another sort of 25 degrees. So it gets sort of more and more sharper, I suppose. You know, more the nose wheel turns a lot more the further you get round, but the actual deflection is similar. So, you know, there's sort of little gates really, and you can really feel it. I think I've said this on the Discord. You really sort of know when you've got somebody new or cadets, because, you know, they sort of turn the tiller and they sort of get past this first gate, and the aircraft suddenly sort of swings from one side to the other, because they haven't really got the feel of progressively sort of putting the tiller in and then just slowly sort of getting into the next bit and just, you know, holding it, because, you know, the nose wheel suddenly steers a lot more sort of sharper. So you can really feel it. The back really feels it as well. The sort of back's just sort of swinging from side to side. So you know, the really experienced guys, you know, you can just feel it because they turn the tiller, and you know, you just don't really feel the abrupt sort of movements, and you can certainly feel that as passengers as well. Anyway, shall we crack on and get on with things? Because what have we got? 20 minutes. Is the fuel done? Fuel's done. Is that done? No, he sold me short. What have you done? Come back, Mr. Fuelman. Didn't want 8.2, I wanted 9.5. So, what have you done? Alright. Well, I know I can do it in here somehow, can't I? Vatsim. Ah, cheeky bugger. He's undersold me on the fuel. Yeah, somebody have to run me through how to do it. Actually, let's do the config as well. Now, there we go. Fuel. Failures. No, not manual. Don't want to do that. Random. Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, that's fuel. Yeah, why did he do that? Bloody knob. There we go, that's better. 9.5 tons. Honestly, you can't get the bloody staff down here, can you? Mind you, I can't say that too loud because it's probably the mafia. Right, 35 is the optimum. Let's go 36. That's done. Company message. That'll be the load sheets. That's all done. Let's get the belts on. Again, this is just assuming that the aircraft's been brought down to Palermo this morning. I feel like my scans are completely out. I'm trying to think what I'm doing. Right, let's have a look at the load sheets. Did you get your performance sorted out? Well, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think that was. I'm guessing that was to me. I've used the tiller in full motion. It was one of that. Yeah, it takes a while to sort of get a feel for it, Barry, because it's difficult to explain, but the deflection gets, the nose wheel steering deflection gets sharper and sharper. Ground crew and arm knob, yes. Yeah, something going on, isn't there? So yeah, it's really it's difficult. It's not like a steering wheel, steering wheel on a car. You turn it sort of, I don't know, a quarter of the way round, and that deflection on the steering wheel is the same as the next quarter sort of thing, but it doesn't quite work like that on the Airbus. Anyway, let's have a quick look. What's zero fuel weights? So zero fuel weight is about 56 tons. Just keep that. Yeah, that's fine. Takeoff weight. So I hope the new load sheet comes through with the actual figures. If not, we'll have to try and force it. Zero fuel weight CAG is 31.2. So 65.3 is the takeoff weight. The CAG is going to be about 29. It'll be about that-ish. Be a little bit less once we get the fuel on. If we cancel the fuel, that's done. Let's have a quick look at the performance. It's really quite quiet. That's a bit better. Performance. Let's have a look at the ground chart as well. Did not expect it to respond to the inputs the way I expected it. So, yeah, exactly, Barry. That's what I mean. That's how you know when somebody's quite new, because they just don't have the feel for it, and you just basically go all over the place, which is quite funny, but a bit uncomfortable. And of course, the thing is that you've got cabin crew standing up in the back as you taxi out for the runway, and they're doing sort of safety checks, the emergency brief, making sure the cabin crew, and of course at the back, if it's worse, and the tail's sort of wagging from side to side effectively, because the FO just doesn't have the feel for the tiller. The poor old cabin crew at the back are hanging on for dear life, because it's they're just sort of being swung around all the time. Let's see, cracking. Look at the tiller itself, obviously cranking. It is going to cause issue. Yeah, it's difficult to explain. Like I say, you just got to get a feel for it. Right, now we'll go from Echo, I think, for that. We're using 07. We don't really use the smaller runway. So from 07, so 3,204 meters is from Echo, so we can do that. No, not 02, 07. Let's go config 1. In fact, I think BA used config 2. Let's go Optimum. Let's see what the Optimum says. Packs. I don't know if they use packs on or not. No idea. 65, 3, 29%-ish. What's the weather now? 340.7. Yeah. Okay. Just maybe a little bit of a tailwind. In section. Okay, so there's no intersection. 3328. 3326, sorry. So where's that going from? 3326 on request. So it's barely worth bothering really, but it's probably turning around in that little bit there and starting from the displaced threshold. Oh well. I'm sure we'll be fine. If we take a couple of knots off V1, that'll accommodate it. So let's go 147 just to accommodate the slight intersection. We wouldn't do this in real life, obviously. We'd have the actual proper intersection departures, but we'll just take a couple of knots off. That'd be fine. Maybe one off the flex as well. So 147. Let's go 147, 149. So again, this is a bit sort of bastardising the sort of performance which we wouldn't actually do in real life without valid data, but because it's a sim, we can sort of do what we want. Twat, don't want to do that. 20,000. 151. I'll double check that. We're looking for 151. No. Oh, it's got flaps one as well. Interesting, flaps one, and let's go 65. So again, the only reason I'm changing these figures, we wouldn't change this, it's just because we're going in intersection, we don't actually have the figures, so I'm just changing a couple of things and lowering the flex. Hey Dan. So that's good, 5,000 feet, I think that was the trans out. Just double check. Make sure I didn't cock that up. Departure, Cap Hill, 5 uniform I think we're doing. 5,000, yeah, good, so going around there. 5,000 is flight level 90. There's only stop altitudes, not that I can see. 6% climb grade, should be able to do that to engine without any problems. Right, let's just go. Well, there's no ATC online anyway, so let's just put 9,000 or flight level 90. Good. I'm curious to how your PC... Yeah, I am crumpy. I mean, this is a bit of a test, really. This is just sort of pushing the boundaries. So the rolling cache is still there. So I will be interested. I've been in Heathrow before, actually, funnily enough, online, I think, on Vatsim. And it was okay. It wasn't too bad. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It'll either work or it won't. Anyway, let's have a very quick brief over things. How long we got? 10 minutes, not very long actually. How are we doing for the loading? Yeah, we're just about there. Good, that's going to be complete. So, flight plan I'm not going to discuss too much. We've got a bit of extra fuel. Complete, yeah, thank you. In terms of the... I suppose let's just do this properly. Let's look through here. I can talk about the airfield brief. So, yeah, Palermo to Heathrow, costing next 12, 36,000 feet, which should be good, just above the optimum. That's fine. Fuel, 6.5 tonnes, which is pretty much what the plug says. CNR is about 2 tonnes. Got a bit of extra fuel as well, just to account for maybe another runway. Flight plan is off 07, and it's the Capital 5 uniform, whatever that is, which is this one here. So straight ahead, round the corner, all around here, no speeds to worry about, and then up to Cap Hill, and then effectively we might get a sort of direct somewhere, to be honest. Probably won't do this whole route. Yeah, we could probably turn left, someone direct up here once we turn left. The rest of it, radnavs, there's no VORs, it's the emergencies, it's just a waypoint, which is on the approach. So that's all auto-tuned. Progress is good. Performance, we've done this, flat one departure for 07. Normal noise abatement as well, so on ADP2, fuel we discussed, secondary is basically the emergencies, straight ahead. Standards, engine out, SID here effectively, so 1600 feet left turn to Oxy, I don't know how you pronounce that, which is, you can see it here. It's effectively the initial approach fix for the RMP Zulu for 07. So up here, left turn, hold there, over the sea, 5,000 is probably nice and safe, and then we can come back in on 07 if we need to. I think we are below max landing weight. What are we, 64, 65.3, so sure we are, it's about 66 tonnes I think, max landing weight. Oh no, 64.5, 64.5. So yeah, we may be a little bit above max landing weight. We'll probably be below that by the time we get back. Barry, I'm running the Inibuilds scenery, so it's going to be really interesting. I looked at the not the community folder, the content manager, because I heard somebody, I think somebody said on Discord, he said, if you disabled or uninstalled the default scenery for Heathrow. So I thought I'll have a look at that before I do it. But it doesn't have default scenery. It was part of the world update, isn't it? I'm not going to uninstall all of that. And the last time I was here in Heathrow with the Inibuilds, it looks perfectly okay. It didn't look like there was any sort of conflicts with other scenery. So, yeah, it'd be fine. So that's good. What does it say on the airfield brief? Just have a quick look. Just so we're done. So it's Cat B. Offset approaches, potentially. Shouldn't worry about that too much. Runway 2 is usable in the day in VMC only. It's a shorter runway, so not going to use that. There's VFR routes, so lots of helicopters around in the area, potentially. There's lots of terrain off to the south, yeah, I suppose that's certainly worth mentioning for the threats. Which we can see probably on the MRC chart. You can sort of see it there, but yeah, certainly lots of terrain off to the south here. So yeah, anything to the north we're good. Oh, there we go. So this is an interesting threat for. You can just disable the airport. Oh, okay. Can do. I didn't see how to do that, but I mean, to be honest, last time I was here with the scenery, it looked okay. So I don't know. We'll have a look at it when we get there. Yeah, so a bit of a threat with Palermo. I mean, this is quite an interesting one. So stray cattle may wander onto the runway. So I mean, Christ, not going to want to hit them at 150 knots, but yeah, so they may just be cows wandering onto the runway. Seabirds are a problem, particularly around runway 20. So we're not using that runway, but it still could be a threat. So we'll make sure we have the lights on. The wind's possibly a bit of a tailwind. What did we say it was? 340. What's that? 340. So yeah, it's almost 90 degrees. It's basically 90 degrees, so it's not too bad. And it's less than 20 knots. There's no tailwind technique, takeoff technique we need to do. What else we get? Runway incursions. Taxiing at night is confusing. It's daylight, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. Runway excursions aren't going to be too much of a problem. A couple of VFR things. So VOR runway P approaches are slightly offset, so we'll discuss that if we need to come back. And talking about the terrain as well. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's not much else to say. So I think we're ready to go. I think there should be a load sheet coming through. We can probably do the cockpit preparation checklist. Where's my checklist gone? There it is. Checklist, thank you. So yeah, we double check these. Obviously would have done this on the ground when we parked up. So plenty of oil. Hydraulic quantities all good as well, and the oxygen is still pretty good. So that's the other one. Page 1, that's what I want. So the aircraft acceptance is being completed. The fuel quantity is about 9.5, just under, and it's balanced. Seatbelts are on. ADRSs are should be 3 in nav, yeah, and the barrier F is QNH 1015. So the cockpit preparation checklist is complete. Where's the dog gone? I don't know, no idea. So that's done. That's done. Load sheet. There's the final load sheet. So final load sheet is looking good. That's no more than 250 kilograms. Takeoff weight 65. 4 good jets. That's good as well. So what's the trim? 27.7. And the zero fuel weight is all within 2 as well. Good. So 27.7 is the trim for takeoff. Good. Accept that. Put you on the flight plan. Put you on performance. And I think we're ready to go. Let's just have a last little check. No ATC still. Okay, let's have Unicom on. Oh, what have I done? Go away. There we go. Two-two-eight. So guard on 1, not that we have guard on 2 even, not that we use it. Of course, the other thing about this aircraft, of course, is the British Airways one. But they're CFM engines. Of course, BA don't have CFM engines, they've got the IAs. So, yeah, it'd be interesting if Phoenix come out with IA engines. That would be very nice. So, anyway, let's get this sorted. Ground services. Chocks and cones. Door, that can go. GPU, APU is on. Let's dump you. Jetway, hopefully you're going. Connect the tug. Good, right, I think we're ready to go. And yeah, within 5 minutes as well of the EOBT, which is good. VORs don't really need them, but they can be on. Let's put the beacon on. And let's go. So that's on. That can go. And before start checklist, parking brake is on, takeoff data is confirmed, windows are closed, PDs, flight mode jet, source off, doors are closed and armed, and the beacon is on. So that's the checks complete. Right, what's my call sign? I've forgotten already. 61 X-ray, right, that's it. Is your logo crafted from real life photo you've taken in the cockpits? Yeah, it is. Do you mean like the main channel whether it's sort of sunset. I think it's just a photo I took probably 10 years ago of a sunset or something. Probably do have updated it actually, Kai. But yeah, no, it's just a sort of sunset from the flight deck at some point. Anyway, right, here's me joystick. Everything is right. It's about sort of right place. Yeah, good. Mary 1212. Right, you're on. Let's go. Palermo traffic, Speedbird 61 X-ray, Mike stands 212 at Palermo, pushing back for departure on runway 07. Let's take that off, and let's start the push. Engine mode selector is ignition starts. That's all looking good. Starting one. Actually, BA start 2, I think, didn't they first? But hey, Paul. Sorry if I miss comments. I mean, I think I looked back at the stream I did last week, and there was so many things that I missed, like people asking questions. So yeah, apologies if I do miss a question. Just persevere. If I miss it, then just ask again. Because there were a few decent questions actually last week, which I thought I could have actually answered those, but I just didn't get a chance because I just wasn't paying attention to the chat, I suppose. Oh, somebody came in and then they disappeared. Alright, engine 1 is looking good. Starting number 2. Well, that's the other thing. I've just got my USB stick from Gav this morning with the AIG traffic, so that'll be my job after this, is installing all of that, which I don't think it won't take too long. But okay, a bit of a crap push, but there we go. And you can stop. Thank you. Parking brake is set. It should be a tug, should disappear. Start you. Both engines are started. They're looking good. Engine mode selector's normal. And try and do memory stat scans. APU don't need anti-ice. APU's coming off. Spoilers. That's already 0. Flaps 1 we've got. And pitch, what did we say? .7.7. Not that I can see the arrow. That's a bit better. That there, that would do. Status. Good. Alright. Civil logo. Yeah, it is, Willie. It is crafted from a... well, it is a real life photo. Anyway, the afterstart anti-ice is off, not required. Ecam status is checked. Pitch trim is 27.7% set, and the rudder trim is neutral. So the afterstarts are complete. Get rid of you, get on you, just remember where we're going. So we're going to taxi out. Taxi out here, probably go out of Lima, down Tango, and then just go to the end to Echo, I think it is. Yeah, that's it. Palermo traffic, Speedbird 61 X-ray, Mike is taxi to runway 07 via Lima, Tango and Echo. So that's pretty straightforward. Taxi lights on, parking brake can come off. Try not to go through the fuel bowser. You gonna move? Right, brakes are jets. Alright, quick flight controls, full up, full down, neutral. full left, full right, neutral, turn you on, full left rudder, full right rudder, neutral. So yeah, that's done. That's on. TCAS, transponder's all good, that's good, that's good, that's on. That's pressed. Again, apologies if I'm not seeing anything about the chats, I'm just concentrating on doing this. So yeah, lots of terrain, which we can see. Don't want to hit any of that. Yeah, so we'll clear this side and that side. Right, taxi checklist says flight controls are checked. Flap setting we have config 1. FMA is climb out blue 1FD2. Radar predicted wind shear. Well, the radar's on, predicted wind shear doesn't work. Eco memo is takeoff no blues, and the EFBs are stowed and disconnected. That's the taxi checks complete. Right, what's the departure? Capil 5 uniform. There's a bit of a bumpy bit here. It's a bit interesting. It's going to be very interesting trying to land on that bit. I don't think that's quite right. There seems to be it's like in a ditch. Yeah. Okay. Might make the takeoff roll a bit more interesting. Okay, get the strobes on even though we're not using this runway. Oh, as long as there's not sharp, bouncy bits, I don't mind. And 2 windsocks blowing in the complete opposite direction, that's always a good sign, isn't it? I feel like I need some thrust to get up here before I slow down. Be rolling backwards. And 4 crash to deaths tops yesterday in the sim. Oh, yeah. Sympathise, Paul. Problem is, there's just no rhyme or reason, is it? We just don't know why sometimes. Yeah, this scenery is definitely... It's good, but odd. It's definitely not quite like this in real life. Right, I think we're good. I don't think there's anybody on approach. There's no ATC online, so let's get all these on. Yep, not off. Oh. Wish they'd improve these click spots. Those can go off, those can go off. Yeah, I can go on. TA, RE. Palermo traffic, Speedbird 61 X-ray Mike is departing runway 07 on the Capil 5 uniform departure. So the lineup checklist says cabin is secure for takeoff. Takeoff runway is 07 via Reco. Takeoff clearance is confirmed. TCAS is TRA and the PAX 1 and 2 are off. Try not to spill your juice, you pleb. Right. So it's looking clear on the approach. This will be a very interesting initial part. Terrain outside of crafted airports can be a bit iffy. Yeah. Oh, it's quite interesting, this is. Oh, it's definitely not like this in real life. I mean, I can say that without any doubt. Yeah. Yeah, this might be a bit interesting. Right, so let's anticipate a bit of a bounce, a bit of some unusual behaviour. Right, that's good, that's good. Let's start it, I think. No, we've had 3 minutes, need to start that again. There we go, currently started. Right, let's see if we can go. So, takeoff. So, Manflex 65, I think that is SRS. Thrust is sets. Knots. V1 rotates. Positive climb, gear up. It wasn't that bad. Behaved, which is the main thing. Right, I'm bored of that. Let's say P1. It's far more interesting looking out the windows. Yeah, you don't want to crash into that. That's going to leave a mark. Let's climb, climb. It's coming on. SB, flap 0, speed checks, flap 0. Not that way. No. That way. Do you mean just the general scenery, Barry, or do you mean the airport scenery? I thought the airport scenery was pretty good. I mean, apart from the bit of a dip on the runway, but I can sort of forgive that to a degree. But this isn't too bad. I mean, it's maybe not perfect, but it's good enough. Right, let's climb up. So 36 is the cruise. So thrust climb, open climb. So standard set cross checked, and that's 360 blue. Right, seems smooth enough, so you can release the cabin crew, and lights can come off. Let's find somewhere to go to. I'll turn the corner and then I'll go somewhere. Checklists, yeah. Yeah, I finished it. Can I ask one question? Sometimes I'll take off the aircraft, pause either to the left or right, and making quite big inputs on the rudder. Is this normal? It's... Yeah, right. I've got a bit of testing still on crosswinds, because that was a bit of a crosswind there. That was about 10 knot crosswind from the left. If you watch it back, you can see the aircraft starts weathercocking into the wind, so the nose starts going left because the wind's pushing on the tail, which is pushing that right, so the nose goes left. So I had to compensate by pressing on the right rudder, so I was pressing down on this to compensate the nose going left, and if you watch it back, I was maybe a little bit left to start with, then I got back on the centre line and just kept it there. But that was with 10 knots. I've noticed in crosswinds of in excess of about 20 knots, the wing seems to lift, which is completely unrealistic because it doesn't do that. And the one thing you're not supposed to do when you do a takeoff roll is put any side stick inputs in, like lateral, aileron, because if you do that, effectively any lateral inputs, the roll spoilers start coming up. but that kills lift. So of course you don't want to kill lift on the takeoff, because you want lift because you actually want to get off the air. You don't want to be killing the lift. So I need to do a bit of practicing of how best to control this, and maybe I'm going to have to use a bit of aileron to do it, to keep the wing down. I'm not too sure. But generally you just use rudder. Just use rudder to keep straight, and then when you get to rotation, there's a technique which is in the SOP document. When you start rotating, if you need to, you can use a little bit of lateral inputs to try and keep the wings level, but you don't want to use too much, because you're going to start commanding the roll spoilers to start deploying. So you don't want to use too much, but you can use a little bit, and you're mainly using the rudder just to sort of keep straight, and as soon as you're airborne, the aircraft will just naturally weathercock into the wind, and then you can just release the rudder pedals. But yeah, I probably sort of suggest, if you're, it's probably pulling left or right because of the crosswinds. That's perfectly normal, so there's nothing wrong about it pulling. Do you have rudder pedals, Ryan? I don't know. So if you've got rudder pedals, it will make things a little bit more easier. If you don't have rudder pedals, it makes it a little bit harder, because then you're cross-controlling the side stick on the twist. And let's do this, and then use sort of opposite aileron, I suppose, to keep the wings level. So you're sort of twisting one way but rolling the other, so it makes it really quite difficult to cross control. So yeah, you got rudders. Yes, just use the rudder pedals. I would watch it anything more about 20 knots crosswind, because I need to do a little bit of testing the crosswinds conditions, because I think the simulator's not quite modelling it perfectly, where it's picking the wing up, the upwind lit wing is being blown up by the crosswind, which just doesn't happen in real life. The wings, the wings stay perfectly flat on the level all the way up until rotation, even in 38 knots of crosswind, which is the maximum you can do on the CEO. It's 35 knots on the Neo, but yes, so there's a little bit of modelling problems with the simulator, which I need to just test, because I need to test how to compensate for that and how to deal with it, because I think you've got to adjust your control inputs maybe when the wings get a little bit stronger. But yeah, just use your rudders, and think about it. Just if you know the wind's coming from the left, the nose is going to go to the left, so you have to compensate with right rudder and vice versa. So if you just think about it before you sort of take off, then you just sort of be prepared to do it. And then yeah, any sort of stronger winds, you might have to use a bit of aileron, but it's one of the streams that I want to do. Actually, I want to do maybe a live stream, sort of like base training, or sort of base training, or sort of pseudo base training. But maybe go to Keflavik or somewhere where there's some decent strong winds, and just see how the aircraft behaves, because it just doesn't quite behave how the real one does, in my opinion. But it's not far off. Anyway, so let's crack on with this. That's done. That's done. We'll leave cost index 12. Secretary can be copied. Constraints, airports, yeah, that's fine. Smooth enough, bells can go off. Oh, there he is. He's still alive. Honestly, it's probably his own shadow he's barking at. Right, run away. Barking at the neighbours as usual. Right, where else? What have I missed? The airport grounds, Barry. No, I mean the textures were very good. The terminal was very good. Just yeah, the runway was a bit funny. But there we go. That's a simulator for you, isn't it? That's the job. Right, what's the Mrs. one? There might be a bagel in a couple. I might have a bit of lunch. Good. Gav's just texted me. Good. Good. Stream's still going, isn't it? Yeah. Sober knows the ground handling is still an issue being actively worked on. Yeah, well, I mean, that's something else that Gav's said to me actually. Is that I don't know if it's the Phoenix, whether it's specifically the Phoenix or the fly-by-wire, or hello mate, you're right. Who was that? Was that a big bad person? There you go, lay down there. Yeah, so with crosswinds again, I need to demonstrate this. It's easier to sort of talk about, I suppose. Whilst I'm doing it, maybe on a stream, it's a bit harder. sort of trying to explain it without really sort of showing what I'm doing. What's the wind in Heathrow? Just have a quick look at this. So what we've got 2205 at the minute. We got what's a TAF. So I'm sure the TAF says 040 later on. So 12 today, yeah, 12. So 8,000 meters in rain and 13th. Oh, that's midnight tonight, isn't it? Oh, maybe not. Maybe it might be 227 then. Okay, fair enough. I saw that earlier. I didn't actually see the time. I thought that was a bit earlier in the day. But okay, you know, it might be 27 then. That'll be fine. So what have we got here? 22 meter. 2205. So I mean, that's almost, it's all crosswind really, because you know it's almost basically 60 degrees off. But you know, if this was 15 knots, when you land, imagine this is, you know, we're landing 27. That's straight ahead of us. You know, 27 straight there, and the runway's there, and we would be pointing to the left because we'd be pointing into the winds. The wind would be coming from this direction, so we'd be weathercocking into the wind, and then. So that is right, yeah. And then as we land, we need to decrab the aircraft, so we need to point the nose down the runway. So we need to press on the right rudder pedal to basically centre the nose and point that down the runway line. And then the problem with that is then you're aligned with the runway centre line, but the wind is still blowing you. So to compensate you not being blown off the runway centre line, you then might need a little bit of left aileron and a bit of wing bank just to stay on the centre line. So you effectively you use the rudder to point straight, and you use then aileron and bank to basically keep your position over the centre line as well. And the more winds there are, the sort of more you need effectively. But I think Gav's told me that the rudder becomes not effective at all once the main wheels have touched down. So as soon as the main wheels have touched down, if you're pointing left or right, you won't be able to control it until the nose wheel is down. So then you have to wait until the nose wheel's down to then get back on centre line. So if you're pointing left or right of the centre line as you touch down, you're basically going to start heading off the runway, and you won't be able to correct that until the nose wheel is down. So crosswinds are going to require a little bit of attention, I think. There's probably either two ways of dealing with this. Either make sure that the runway or the aircraft is dead straight with the runway in the decrab, and then when you touch down you're more or less straight anyway, so it won't make too much of a difference. But you will weathercock into the wind when the nose wheels touch down. Or the alternative is just get the nose down as quickly as possible. Now, obviously you derotate the aircraft and the flare quite gently to put the nose wheel down, but in this situation you may have to just slam the nose wheel down just to get it on, so that the rudder becomes effective again. And that's just a sim bug. Obviously, you know, that's doesn't happen in the real aircraft. The rudder's effective all the way through the flare. Yeah, I do want to do a bit of testing. I want to do some, you know, proper crosswind testing, I suppose, just to see how it is. And the other thing that annoys me in Microsoft Flight Simulator is when you look at the weather on the world map, you know, when you log in, it gives the weather in kilometres per hour. I'm sure there's probably an option somewhere. But you know, we don't use kilometres per hour. We use knots. So why they can't just display it in knots? Because every try and set up a flight was, you know, individual weather, and convert kilometres to knots, it just never seems to work very well. So I don't know. Anyway, right, I think we're all good still. It's all done. Probably venture outside. It's like good old Nigel. Bit of odd texture flickering there, not too sure what that is. I have done a couple of things to the graphics as well, like, I mean, those that know me, I'm always sort of pushing the boundaries a little bit for the sim, but I've put the windscreen reflections on a higher ultra, I think, because I just quite like seeing the windscreen reflections, and then I had the light blue thing from the sun So I upped those a little bit. I mean, that's pretty much all I touched, but yeah, the graphics are ever so slightly better. The main reason I did that was because I quite like flying the Dark Star and the other aircraft, and you know, it's nice seeing the reflections sometimes of the instrument panels in the other aircraft. But there we go, that's just me. Alright, let's plug you back in. Right, have I missed anything in the chats? Weather radar API is done. Yeah, it could be good. Again, if I haven't answered a question and I've missed something from earlier, just please just repeat the question. I'll be able to do it. Texture flicker was from the jet blast. Oh, was it? Was that what it was? Guess you punch your nose gear in the flight deck. Yeah, to be honest, Christian, I think that is just a way of doing it. You know, get the nose wheel down and then just whack the nose down and get it on. I think it might be the only way to compensate the lack of rudder authority for that moment where the main gears have touched down and the nose gear hasn't. And it's one of the little nuances with the sim, which is just like, oh, it's a little bit frustrating. So, you know, as I was saying to Crumpet earlier with the sensitivities of the joystick, you know, I've got it pretty set up so it handles pretty much like the real aircraft. You know, the pitch and the roll commands all pretty good, pretty responsive to how I'd expect it to be. But that flare, you know, that sort of last little bit as the main wheels touch down, like you can get it where the nose wheel was, you know, the nose of the aircraft is supposed to be pointed down the centre line of the runway, so you don't really want much drift. You don't really want much more than, you know, 5 degrees really, but you know, a couple of degrees drift at the most. Which, you know, a lot of people have been struggling with recently, and we've done a lot of training on this in the sims, because we've noticed that a lot of people are still landing with considerable amount of drift on. What was I saying with this? I can't remember now. Oh yeah, but you know, you can almost land the aircraft. You can almost you can get it where you decrab the aircraft, you get the nose wheel aligned with the centre line, and then you're using a little bit of aileron to stay on the centre line, and as the sort of nose is coming around with the rudder input, you're sort of effectively landing on one wheel, and you're sort of almost, you know, you can get the one main gear touch down, and you can sort of almost pivot a little bit on that, and then just gently let the other one land, and then the nose gear. So you sort of, you know, it's almost sort of just landing on the one wheel and just sort of pivoting on that, which is sometimes quite satisfying. But you've got control. You've got 100% control throughout that manoeuvre all the time. But the simulator doesn't have that. So if you did that in the sim, the minute you touch down on one wheel, you then effectively lose all rudder authority, and you know, effectively the aircraft's out of control a little bit in the sim. So it's not perfect. It's why I need to do a bit of testing really, just to try and find a way of dealing with it. But there we go. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, now what does she want? Comes out here. What's my reg? Christ, can't remember. So my missus is getting a new car. She's getting that hopefully pretty soon. But her current car is, I mean, we generally lease our cars. Her current car is going back, I think, in a couple of weeks. But I think there's going to be a period, it's for 1,000 to go, of where she doesn't have a car, so she's going to have to use my car, which is a bit frustrating. But she's insured on it. But she needs my registration because she needs that for her work and everything. But so she might have to use my car, which is a bit frustrating. That'll be putting the mileage on it until she gets hers. Right, what do I want to do? That's. I mean, if it's only for a week or two, I don't care too much, but if it goes on for like a month or two, she has a feeling she won't have a car. I bloody hope she does. Was he called Nigel? Nigel, what was his surname? Right, Zamstar. Can't remember now. Funnily enough, I actually flew with his daughter-in-law because I always turn that one below. Next, right, out cruise done. Yeah, I can't remember his name now. But yeah, I remember seeing. I was, oh, you're not in relation to this guy that got sucked out the window. Were you? She said, oh, I am actually. He's my father-in-law. So, oh, small world. Engines are good. Still got the oil, which is a good thing. Bleeds are looking good. Pressurization is good. Electrics all good. Hydraulics as expected. Fuel. What we used about 1600s. So 1600 on top of that is, what's that? 88, 94, 95 more or less. Balance, no leaks, good. Germo. I'll take that in a second. APU. That's good. Doors. That's good. Flight controls are all looking pretty normal. So at Germo was about 21 minutes, 7.8. 23 minutes, yeah, we cut the corner a little bit, so saved a bit of time there. We took a little bit extra fuel. How much did we take? So we had 300 contingency, plus about another 600. We had about 900 extra, really, I suppose, total. So 900 on top of that is about 7.5, 7.6, which is exactly what we got, plus a bit more. Good. Was Nigel Ogden? Was it Nigel Ogden? It's Lancaster, wasn't it? I'm sure. I don't know. Timothy Lancaster. Yeah, that was it. I flew with his daughter-in-law. She was a cabin manager for us, I think. Yeah, Ogden. Ogden rings a bell, but was he not the FO? The 747 through the volcano. That was Eric. That was Eric Moody. Really nice chap, actually. I think I've met him once. But yeah, typical sort of very down to earth, and yeah, yeah. Tim was yeah, exactly. He was the one hanging out the window, and I got a funny feeling it might be, was it Ogden was the FO possibly, and he's just retired actually. I think he worked for. Oh, was he that? He might be the cabin manager. Yeah, he might be the cabin manager, because there was like a couple of them hanging onto his legs, wasn't there? But the FO's just retired. Well, he's not an FO anymore, but he was a captain. He was. I think he. Did he? I read somewhere he retired, and I think he was at Jet 2. He might have been British Airways, I can't remember. But yeah, he's apparently the FO who sort of stayed out of the limelight. He never really wanted the attention for it, which, you know, I don't really blame him, to be honest. Yeah, apparently he's just retired. Right, where are we going? So we have Sardinia here, up towards Corsica. I do have the Calvi scenery, so LFKC, but it's not in the community folder. I forgot we were going this way, so it's not there. But we did a really good flight down to Calvi, didn't we, a few weeks ago? But we're going over the top of that. It'd be interesting to do another flight out of there, actually. But yeah, there we go. So that's Sardinia, I believe, over there. Italy is somewhere over there. BAC 111, that was it. Yep, that was it. Jet 2, good pilots. Yeah, I've got a couple of mates there, actually. Really good guys. They're doing really well, actually, I think, as a company. Just need to get this bloody COVID sort of stuff out of the way and just crack on with it again. Right, that's good. It's fine. Where's Rome in case we have a problem? I think I put the Rome scenery in as well. Oh, what are you doing? Invalid. Yeah. So it annoys me sometimes. Like you press clear, and then if you press clear again, it should clear the clear, like that. But sometimes it doesn't. It gets stuck, and then you can't overwrite anything. You sort of got to go onto a field to reset it, and then it says something dart, and then you can put something back in again. But there we go. So Rome is 020 degrees, 140 miles. So in that direction, somewhere over there. I suppose on that note, we could get some weathers, couldn't we? That's L-I-E-E, that's Calgary. Trying to think of some decent places to go to. I'm sure it's lovely. It looks good. Looks good out the window. Could you show us how to calculate landing weight for the calculator? Yeah, well, that's pretty straightforward. Yeah, let me come back as well. Yes, Christian. Yeah, it's basically Christian said that. So Calgary, yeah, Cavalcade, that's looking good. So a quick look at Rome. Rome 210 so probably 16 in use. Almost Cavalcade, so yeah, that's fine, there's no problems there. So I've got a look at Olbia. I think I'd rather go to Olbia than anywhere else. Not Olbia. Yeah. I need more map. Can't see any of those codes. L-I-E-O, is it? L-I-E-O. No. Olbia is good, that's okay. Let's have a look at Nice, because that's probably the next place we're going to go over. Nice is okay, good. I think Jet 2 retained all their pipes full of. Yeah, I think so, Willie. Yeah, I don't quite know, to be honest. I mean, like all of us, we all sort of went part time and did various things and managed to keep our jobs. Trigger a random failure. Well, I could do, but you know that means I'm going to be working hard, and like I said, I'm knackered, you know, after getting in at 3 o'clock in the morning last night. So. You know, the problem is it come up with a bloody dual hydraulic failure or something. I just can't be asked to do that. So maybe one day, right? Maybe, yeah. But yeah, the fuel. So it's a couple of ways of doing it, really. I mean, it depends how you want to sort of do it, how accurate you want to be. That depends on where you're going as well. So obviously you've got your estimated landing weights in the OFP, but you know, a bit of caution with this because this estimated landing weight 58.3. That's assuming you're taking plug fuel. Which we're not. We didn't do that. We took a bit extra, so we took about another 600 extra on top of that. So we know our landing weight, estimated landing weight, is probably a good 600 more on top of that one. So it's probably going to be about 59, 50, yeah, probably about 59-ish tons, more or less, give or take. And then you can also look at it in the fuel prediction page. So you've got your zero fuel weight at 56 tons, and then you know roughly what you're landing with. So about 3.2. And this is a little bit more accurate. It's supposed to be a bit more accurate because this is sort of in-flight fuel management. So this has the routes and knows the fuel burn a little bit better. So this actually says we should be landing in Heathrow about 3.2 based on the arrival and everything else that we got in. So yeah, that's suggesting maybe about 59 tons, just a little over. But if you're doing a landing distance calculation, we know our estimated landing weight is about 59-ish tons. But so long as you're not really restricted on on where you're getting into, I mean, it may make a difference in some of the shorter runways. But if we were going to go, say, 27 right, dry, apply the weather, that's pretty good. What did we say? 50, 59. We can just be ultra conservative and go, oh well, let's just split 60. Because we know we're going to be probably below that, and then we can just look at all this, and then we can just sort of see our landing distance. So generally try and be as conservative as possible. But of course, when you're landing on the shorter runways, a couple of extra 100 kilograms may make a little bit of a difference to the landing weight, so you need to be a bit more accurate. Kept his job, did some admin, became a YouTube sensation on the days. Yeah. Well, if this paid, if doing this paid me as well as what it was going to work normally, then I wouldn't have to go to work at all. It'd be brilliant. I could just work from home doing this. I'm sure my missus would get fed up with me though, so to be honest, I probably would miss it. I would miss most of it. Add at least half a ton of that because Phoenix, yeah, I mean, yes, that's sort of right, Christian. Really, I mean, you're basically try and be conservative as possible. One thing I did want to show people, which I know I don't know if Crumpet's still here, but it was the ETP, which I know sort of, but I can actually demonstrate this in what we're doing. So if I go on to plan, so hopefully we'll see this. So at the minute we have. Yeah, I'll get on the right flight page. Should be that. There we go. So there's our ETP, which is that it. That's it, I think. Not that one. After octet. Yeah, so we can see the ETP. So this is the equitime point between Palermo and Heathrow. So that's effectively simulating halfway, more or less, which is fine. But it's not always, it's not that, I mean, on long flights, we just go halfway. But if we're doing sort of flights over sort of large bodies of water, and I can probably only sort of simulate this or demonstrate it by kind of sort of adding the caveat. Just imagine all these airfields around us were just unusable. So all of Italy was useless, all of Corsica, all of Sardinia was basically useless, and we couldn't use any of them. So we could only use maybe Nice or Palermo. So if we had a problem, we'd want to go back to either of those. So if we go into the data, we've got the equitime point. We've already got Palermo there. If we put in LFMN as Nice, that'll insert the new equitime point, which is now just ahead of us. So, according to this, we're still closer to Palermo than what Nice is. So this is sort of our halfway hut. So once we pass this, it's probably just more economical just to carry on to Nice. Now, a little bit of sort of, common sense applies to this, because of course, if you're just before it, you might as well just carry on to Nice, because the time it takes you to do a 180-degree turn and then go back, that's going to be a couple of minutes, so you might as well just carry on. So, by the time you get within about 20 miles of the equitime point, you're basically just, it's better to go back. So, no, not ETOPS, Willie. No, this is an equitime point, so as somebody, I know Crumpet was asking me in the forum about it, and he's just wondering how it's used, and really the best way to demonstrate this is sort of do a longer flight, so that's between two isolated aerodromes, sort of like islands or something. But this is what I'm saying, just imagine where we currently are, for whatever reason. Just imagine all these airports down here. So everything here is basically unusable, apart from Nice or Palermo. So we want to know at what points are we closer to Nice than we are to Palermo. So we can adjust this in the equitime point page by putting in the two airports we're interested in, and that inserts the new equitime point. So at the minute, if we were to have a problem, if we were to have, as I say, as a medical problem, we couldn't go anywhere else. We could either go to Nice or we could only go to Palermo. At the minute, it's probably better to turn around and go to Palermo. But as soon as we get close to this and pass it, it's then better just to carry on to Nice. So that's kind of how we use it. We don't really use it that often in short haul stuff. It's the only time I generally use it is if I'm doing sort of Canary routes. When I start going off down here, Madeira is usually quite good, because you start going off in this direction between Madeira and Lisbon. And of course, if you're from the UK and your equitime point is somewhere over the north coast of Spain, it's pretty useless. But as soon as you get across the Atlantic, you kind of really want to know whether Lisbon's closer or Madeira's closer, because you either want to go, or if we have a problem now, if it's a technical issue or a medical emergency, you can change the waypoints or the airports between Lisbon and Madeira, and that will insert an equitime point on the flight plan somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic. So then right, I am actually closer to Madeira or Porto Santo, so we'll just carry on and get in there now if we have a problem. But equally, you know, if you've just passed Lisbon and the equal time points in the middle, then you know you're probably just better off turning around. So it just gives you a bit of situational awareness. But where does EP? Yeah, it's sort of emergencies, Willie. It's situational awareness, decision making. So like I said, if we had some sort of technical issue now where we basically couldn't continue, and thought we can't carry on to Heathrow now, we've got to descend, or we've got to turn around, we've got to land the aircraft, but we couldn't land at any of these airports. We could either only go to Nice or Palermo. We can see that we're getting pretty close to it now. I mean, we're almost 10 miles away. So from here, I would be relatively happy just to continue on to Nice, because by the time you've turned around, you're just wasting time turning around. So you know, we're effectively at the equal time point now, so we might as well just carry on. And if we were to have some sort of problem or medical problem, with, you know, the next nearest airport is now ahead of us. Yeah, it is irrelevant, and that's why I was just trying to play the game a little bit and just saying all the airports that are around us on Corsica and Rome, etc. Just imagine all of these aren't usable. So we're just using Nice and Palermo as the example, and you know, effectively imagine nothing else is there. But yeah, of course, in reality, we wouldn't really need this, I suppose. It wouldn't be that relevant on a flight like this, because you know, we've got loads of airports around. You know, and if we did have a sort of major emergency, we've got loads of options around as well. So the ETP point isn't really that relevant. Yeah, that's it, Crumpet. It's over large sort of bodies of water, or you know, certainly large parts of land where there's just not many alternates. So it's not really used so much on the short haul stuff. You know, there's only sort of particular routes you may want to use it. But the long haul guys, they might use it a little bit more frequently. Certainly coming across the Atlantic. You know, if you imagine, you know, they're coming across. I mean, this is where ETOPS comes in as well. I mean, I don't really know ETOPS. I'm not trained on ETOPS, but you know, you'll have like Gander, Shannon. You've got Porto Delgado, I think it is, the Azores down here, and you'll have ETOPS, which of course only twin-engine aircraft anyway. But there'd be sort of points on their flight plan. It'd be annotated, and this will all be worked out for them because it's all done by flight planning now. And they'll have little lines, I think, on their flight plan saying, right, you know, once you're past this point, you know, Gander's closer, so you know, this is the line for Gander. So once you're past here, your next best option is then just to carry on down to the Azores, and then equally there'll be another point up here where they say, okay, the next, you know, once you're past here, now the next best point is like Shannon. So there'd be like a very specific sort of annotation on their flight plan to help them out, give them sort of situational awareness. And this will be, they'll be able to code this in somehow, whether it be a point in space that is using lat long coordinates, so they might just be able to put it in as a fix, or they just might be able to use the ETP there, and they can put like, you know, Gander and the Azores, and then equally that would give them their ETP, which will probably correlate with their flight plan pretty well. But I don't know too much about ETOPS because I've not really done it. Right, so there's Corsica. And EO, anybody know where EO is? I don't know. That's not Olbia, was it? Was that Olbia? Oh, it is Olbia, yeah. Olbia's a good little place to go into. Yeah, not that way. That way. It's on the coast. There it is. Yeah, this is quite an interesting approach. I think there is scenery for this actually, but you know, it's a straightforward ILS, I think, this way, and then I think there is another ILS actually. There is another ILS going this way, which sort of goes through this sort of valley, but there's lots of high terrain around. But yeah, it's quite good fun going into Olbia. Gavin's going to start a stream as well. Is he? Oh, is he going to join in? See if he takes off from Nice, see if he can get airborne in time. Mind you, I suppose EasyJet don't go to Gatwick, do they? Oh, good, the dog's asleep finally. After a good run. That's really safe to put a cabin on. Panel states. Competition, yeah. We can have a competition for landing rates, can't we? Since they're both going to be recorded. Okay. Apparently it's around here, I think. This is like Millionaire's Corner for Italy, apparently. I was talking to my next door neighbour who's Italian, and I was saying, oh, all around here looks really nice. The sea looks really nice and crystal clear, and looks like a good place to go on holiday. And he just sort of looked at me and went, yeah, if you've got a few hundred, you know, a few thousand quid in your pocket, mate, it's an expensive place to go. Can't remember the name of it. It begins with a C, but I think around here I've seen Instagram photos. I think it just looks very, very, very nice. Very clear waters down here. When Euro Millions, maybe. Aviator or John Lennon? Is this a sunglasses question, Willie, or is this something else? Going to Aberdeen. I was thinking of doing Aberdeen. I was thinking of doing maybe like a little 2-sector Heathrow Aberdeen BA. But I don't know if is there scenery. I mean, there probably is. I don't think I've got the scenery, but I'm trying to keep the flights with decent scenery at the minute, just to make it a bit more interesting. Nailed it. Yeah, I would probably swing towards more aviator style than John. I mean, the problem with John Lennon is they're too small. I mean, when you're in the flight deck, you know, actually big sunglasses are quite good because they cover the sides. You know, when you've got the sun off to the left and stuff, you know, slightly bigger sunglasses cover the sort of eyes a bit more. So yes, circular sunglasses probably aren't quite my style. Yeah, it's the slightly larger ones. I did have a pair of Oakleys because they were quite large and they looked pretty good, but I've basically kept them for the car, really. I mean, they should have been polarised ones are better for the car, but they're not polarised because polarised ones are crap for the aircraft. But I didn't really like them. There is a company that's called Big Atmo, which are actually very, very good. I've used their sunglasses a lot, to be fair, and I preferred them. I bought a couple of pairs of those to try them out, and they had like a grey tinted lens and a sort of brown tinted lens. So I sort of prefer the brown tinted lens. And the Oakleys, were they Oakleys? I can't remember what they were now. Something else. What was the other? No, I don't. The other pair I got, they were brown tinted as well. But I actually found the Big Atmo brown tinted lenses. They seemed a little bit better, like the clarity was a bit better, the sort of colour definition was a little bit better. Just the lens itself, just everything stood out, the contrast was just a little bit better as well. So I've stuck with those for the aircraft, so I've got the Big Atmo ones for the aircraft, and then I've got yeah, they are Oakleys. I was thinking Ray-Bans, but they're not Ray-Bans. No, they're Oakleys, I think, in the car. But they're sort of larger, they're larger sort of style glasses because they cover the eye a bit more, so you know, certainly up here you want as much coverage because you're trying to sort of protect any sun from creeping in. No, you don't. You don't. Not with the polarised. Like you look down at the radio and it's just blank. It's black. You know, you think, oh, it's, you know, the thing's off, and then you sort of move your head and you go, oh, hang on a minute, and it's like, oh no, I can see it now because it just filters out the LCD screens. It's not so bad on the MacDoos. You know, the LCD screens up here, they're not too bad. But the other thing as well is the windows are, I don't know, are they polarised? I can't quite remember, but you have this sort of funny burning sort of effects, like these sort of dark black lines that appear, and then you sort of see little colour ribbons and this, that and the other, and it just makes looking out the window not very nice as well. Sometimes it's like a hatched sort of effect. So yeah, polarised really aren't that great for flying. So, you know, fine for driving the car, but not really for flying the aircraft. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Willie. So, yeah, sort of, they don't need to be massive. I mean, they don't need to look like, you know, sort of sunglasses some, you know, Victorian Beckham wears or something. But it's, you know, it needs to have a pretty decent coverage, just to sort of cover the sort of periphery of your eyesight, I suppose. Don't see reflections from other aircraft as easy. Ah, that's a good point, Crumpet. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, to be honest. I suppose that's the benefit for us. Us is, you know, we got the, you know, we got TCAS, so yeah, we don't have to worry too much. But yeah, of course, when you're flying, you don't have things like that. You do need to see it. I don't know if they're actually polarised. I can't quite remember. I don't know, you know, but they're obviously multi-layered. Can you see it? Probably can't see it, but yeah, you probably can't quite see it. But you know, they're sort of multi-layered. There's like there's an element here, an electrical element which is heating it. It's there, and I think it goes on the side as well. I can't quite remember now. And it goes. Yeah, the Phoenix haven't quite modelled that. Oh, there is. Sorry, there is there. So. Yeah, so you've got your heating element there, and I thought there was one at the top here somewhere as well, but maybe not. Yes, I don't know if they're actually polarised, but the way they're constructed, it just sort of creates some sort of polarised effect, and looking through them with polarised glasses just, yeah, just doesn't work. Oh yeah, Gavin's going to Aberdeen. See, I mean, I don't think I've got time to do this. What time are we landing? And Irby would have been done by then anyway. What, 10 to 3? Yeah. You know, if I'd had time, if I was on a bit earlier, then I could have gone, oh, let's go to Aberdeen afterwards. But yeah, I probably don't have time for that, unfortunately. One thing I might do later today, if I can, I need to install this AIG stuff. Gav's given it to me on the flash drive thing, but I've got no idea actually what I'm doing. Do I need to install anything for AIG, or is it just like a folder in the community folder? I don't actually know what I'm doing. That's a Jaco, a Jaco, I can never remember how you pronounce it, down here. There we go. Another Cat's airfield. We've actually had a company brief about this recently, so it'd be quite interesting to do this one day. That'd be quite nice to do. Going to all these different destinations. Need AIG manager, okay, and a VMR file into vPilot. Don't ask. Okay, yeah, okay, Dark. Yeah, I will definitely be picking your brains over that later. I'm not too sure what's on the flash drive that Gav's given me, but you know, as far as I'm aware, it's all the deliveries and stuff you need to do. So, yeah, the scenery's not fantastic, is it? This sort of height. Can't remember if I've got scenery for that actually. Might do. It's funny, I was looking at Split the other day in the aircraft, because obviously we were discussing this last time we went there about the RNAV visual approach, and you know, I definitely looked at it. It does have the waypoints in the real aircraft, so there's definitely a sort of bit of missing data in the Navigraph database or something where the approach isn't correctly coded. So I don't know what they're going to do about that, but for the time being, if those waypoints on an RNAV visual approach aren't there, you can't actually do it. Which would be, it's a shame, because I'm fairly sure it would be quite easy to do, or update the database. Let's have a look at, so Jib's got one. XGB 09. Oh, so they don't have it at all. Okay. Jib has got RNAV visual approaches now. But again, there's nothing in the box, so you can't actually do it. Still got to do the SRA. Good news, my nephew's been accepted into the ATP program, Dartmouth in Halifax. So that's good, Willie. Oh, he's going to become a pilot. Oh, you poor man. Oh, he's going to be whinging for the rest of his life now. If he won't be whinging about leave or the pay or something else, you know, it'd be something else. It's what we do best, just sit there and whinge. And then it was Calvi over here. I can't quite remember now. This is weird, it's on the wrong side. Is that it down? That can't be it down there. It must be over here. It must be up there. It must be there somewhere, I think. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's Calvi. Did that little good approach. That was good fun. That wasn't too bad. Lots of terrain. You know, really very mountainous sort of island, Corsica. Must be quite nice, actually. Really nice to sort of walk round. Probably certainly nice to get away from the hustle and bustle of real life going down here. Right, is there any air traffic controllers on? It's all been very quiet, isn't it? Apart from me waffling on, talking rubbish as usual. There's a lot of people. Oh, there's a lot of people there. Is there an event going into Old? Is that not Old Weir? Is it? What's that one? Bastia. Christ, there's like 11 people going into Bastia. That's a good job I didn't go there. There must be something going on. Maybe one of the other YouTubers is going there and he's got a massive following, quite possibly. I'm just going to slide on by. So we've got London Control. At least that's one thing. If they're going to still be there. And who else we got? ATC. ATIS, that's it. Can't be worse than Willy Waffle. Hey Chris. Yeah, very good, thank you. Sim seems to be working. We're attempting Heathrow, and I use the word attempting literally because it may not work. But I was inspired last week, seeing as it seemed to behave itself, so let's hope it behaves today. And I was thinking, I don't know if you remember, I did the Luton Jersey stream a few weeks ago, and I did actually really well. I managed to get to Jersey and halfway back, and then the sim crashed. Doing a flight into Bastia. London Controller doing a flight into Bastia. That was interesting. But yeah, no, the sim crashed going into Luton, and I think this was shortly after I put the RAM in. So I've got a funny feeling that the rolling cache wasn't really working very well. So I probably did really well to get down to Jersey and sort of halfway back. But yeah, it'd be interesting to sort of try Luton again with the Luton scenery to see if I could actually get in next time. Let's see what the ATIS says. ATIS offline. Okay, fair enough. Inibuilds. It is Inibuilds, Chris, yeah. And I have done a flight. I did the Mykonos, I think, if you might remember that one. I did a Mykonos, Heathrow Mykonos flight. And it sort of crashed, OBS crashed on departure. and you wouldn't have seen this because I didn't record it, because then OBS crashed until I sort of got it back going sort of near the top of the climb. But the aircraft was uncontrollable. It was going all over the place, and it just wasn't good. So managed to recover it and got going as soon as we got outside sort of London airspace. But yeah, no, it'd be interesting to see just how well it copes today. If it becomes uncontrollable, I might have to disconnect Vatsim and everything else, and it may just it may be a very abrupt end to the stream. But I keep my fingers crossed it sort of at least behaves itself to a degree. I don't need the anti-ice, I was just seeing what indication it came up on the bleed page. What was the TET? TET? What's TET, Crumpet? I've lost that one. Yeah, I did see some Los Angeles scenery. It kind of inspires me a little bit to maybe do some American flights. I could sort of go over there and just pretend to be an American. And just have a really crap RT and maybe do something there, just sort of expand the horizons a little bit. Not that I know anything about FAA procedures or anything else. I mean, they can't be that hard. Oh, Nidus, what are you doing? Yeah, always found about Heathrow far worse than Arrival. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting, Chris. I'm not too sure. We're just going to have to wait and see what it's like. Scratch my ear. Anyway, come up to the south coast of France. I'm trying to think if I've got Nice scenery. I think I've got Nice scenery. I think I might put it in. Yeah, it might be in the community folder. Can we go up to 3/8? No, not really. Right, here's a good question. Here's a tech question for people. Does anybody know what this does? Descent cabin rate minus 350. You can reduce it to 250, I think. That's the maximum. You can't reduce it any more than that. 150. Oh, you can. Okay. I don't actually think you can do that in the real aircraft, but no, I didn't like that one. Minus 100. Yeah, okay. This is a really geeky, techie question that probably no one will ever, nobody would have seen this before or anything. And I thought I knew what it was at one point, and then I read the FCOM and realised it wasn't. But that's what makes your ear pops. Yeah, you think it would be. Yeah, but it's not quite that, Chris. Pressurization. Yeah, again, that's sort of what you think it would be. But it's sort of, well, it is and it isn't really, I suppose. I mean, nobody's ever going to get it, so I'm not. Don't worry. It basically, I need to. Let's see if I can find the FCOM. Actually, it's actually easier to probably talk about it. Right, let's search for it. It's probably easier. What's it called? Descent rates. There's cabin. There is a nice little table about it somewhere, not a table, but like a graphic. There's the FMGC stuff. It's all to do with the program, the FMGC descent programming. I'll have to find it now, it will take me ages to find it. But basically it changes the top of drop. So if you put minus 250, let's put 100 just to make it a bit more extreme. So if you put minus 100, it should bring the top of descent forward a little bit more. It probably won't. Now I've said it. No, it doesn't look like it's doing anything. But yeah, technically it'd bring the top of descent forward a little bit more forward. Now what I used to think it used to do was when you descend, obviously you get a cabin VS when you descend because the cabin altitude is descending, you know, with the aircraft. And I used to think it was effectively hard code the maximum sort of cabin descent rate that you're going to allow it to have. So imagine you had, I don't know, maybe you had a bit of a hole or a bit of depressurization or something, and you wanted to descend quite slowly. We wanted the cabin to descend quite slowly because, you know, you might have some problems in the back with eardrums, the rest of it. You could put this in it. It would force the descent management of the FMGC to make sure it descends earlier but slower, so the cabin rate goes down at this sort of set values, so you know you don't hurt people's ears quite so much. So that's what I thought it used to do. Was, you know, basically hard tune this cabin descent rate so it wasn't going to go any above that, but it doesn't do that at all, which is what I thought it did. And without, I probably can't find the graphic now, but there's a graphic. The descent profile of the FMGC, it sort of goes down in a number of sort of segments, and I can't remember the name of it now, but there's an initial segment, and this is called something. Let me see if I can find it. It's probably going to be so much easier if I can find the thing. Just have a quick look. But it basically just changes the value of that initial descent, but the rest of the descent is then perfectly normal, so you'd still get a normal descent rate on the cabin, but it just changes the very first part of the descent, but that's it. So yeah, it's one of these sort of random figures which you see in the FMGC, and you just go, what the hell does that do? And it doesn't do what I thought it did, where I thought it controlled the cabin VS a bit more. But it doesn't actually do that. It just controls or just changes the very initial parts of the descent effectively. I've got to see if I can find it now. Flight augmentation. No, it's not that one. Or if like flight management. Problem is, it's one of these things that's buried in the FCOM, and it just takes years to find. You know, you see it once, and they're like, "Oh, I've seen that before," and then you just never find it again. No. I got no idea where it would be. Probably should have found it really before I started talking about it, but yeah, it doesn't really do anything. I mean, you know, if you see it, it's just not even worth changing. But it will just bring the top of descent forward just a little bit more, because it just makes that initial descent into the main descent just a bit more shallower. So I suppose it has some sort of function. Gavin's stream's just disappeared. Oh no, is he having problems as well? That's not good. There we go. Found it. Yeah, how did I find that? So there we go. That's zoom that out. Yeah. So imagine this is descent. The descent profile. So you've got a pressurization segment, and it's tiny. It's like that big. It's compared to the entire descent, and all of that does there is it just changes this pressurization segment just to be a little bit more shallower. but then the rest of the descent is then perfectly normal. So, you know, why you would need to change it, I don't know. I've never come across any failure in my life or anything to suggest that you might actually need to change this, but it's there if you need to. So yeah, it's like one of these useless functions in the MACD or the FMGC which you don't actually really ever need to touch. So here we go. Descent profile, several segments. A repressurization segment. Where necessary, this produces a repressurization rate for the cabin during descent. It is a function of the destination airport altitude and the selected cabin rate, defaulted to minus 350 feet a minute, but this can be modified. And then it's got an idle path segment, which is basically you just descend in an idle thrust. And the autopilot flight director controls the speed, and the auto thrust stays at idle thrust. The guidance computes this profile from the top of descent, or the end of the repressurization segment, to the first vertical constraint that cannot be flown at idle thrust. And then you've got a geometric part of the descent, and that's the autopilot flight directors control the vertical profile and auto thrust control speed. These segments take the aircraft from the first constraint to the deceleration point. So yeah, there's a number of segments just of the vertical profile of the FMGC, and that just controls the very, very first part of it, and the very first part of it is tiny, so it's pointless. But there we go. Useless bit of information for you. There's Nice. Let's have a look at Nice. Yeah, it's probably there for a reason, Chris. I don't know why. Like I said, it's nothing. I've never touched it in real life. Oh, that was scary. Okay, it doesn't like being outside. It's alright, don't mind if you're a bit slow and a bit laggy, just, you know, get there, as long as you don't crash.
Need traffic, 344.
What was I going to look at? I was going to look at some charts yesterday.
Needs traffic.
Hello, mate. What was I doing? Oh yeah, what's the weather in Nice? I did look at it, you know, I've forgotten already. Uh, 160 at 7. Yeah, it's probably just about 04, isn't it? Right, MSA sort of going up on this bit. I'm going to put me out thingy. No, that one. DD. Was it north? 4630. And 830, I think. No. What are you doing? What'd you do that for? Store. I think that was the way the coordinates. Can't remember now. I know in a minute if it looks right. Yeah, 225. No, that wasn't it at all. That was not in the right place. Right, where's my manual? How smooth can you do the landing? Well, I don't know. It's a good question. Smooth enough that hopefully you won't spill the coffees. Oh, it's east, that's why, not west. Right, data. Pilot waypoints.
East traffic, 50 birds, 344 November, 0, left, east traffic.
.630, it was east. That was almost right. There you go, that's a little bit better. So that's just a decision point really, so the MSA is pretty high around here. Which we can look at it exactly. Yeah, 113, 120, 138, so 15,000 would be pretty good up to Gipno. So basically we need to go down 15,000 feet on the altitude until we get past this. The land looks like it's probably pretty clear over there. Right, I'm just going to go off the air for a minute because I need to get a bit of lunch, get another drink. So I shall leave everybody to it, and I'll be back in a minute. Ah, good, we're still here. Who was that calling me? Oh, God, I don't want to call you back. Sort of. No idea. Oh, if it's that important, you leave a message. Romsey. It might be the chiropractor. We got chiropractor booked next week. A few things booked next Monday, and of course, you know, poor old Queenie's died, so because that's the national holiday. Voicemail. A couple of things we got, so we're going to have to rebook. So never mind. It's all for good reasons. Right, I'm just going to disable my microphone because I've got a bagel to eat, so I'll be chomping down that. So anyway, yeah, I'll be a bit quiet for a minute. Yeah, sorry guys, I'll just shut the mic down because I'm chewing, so you don't hear me masticating food for the next 5 minutes. So I'm just setting things up. I was just a bit quiet. Right. Right, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought there's nothing I hate more. It sounds like Mark's probably the same. I hate hearing people chew, and even people that eat with their mouth closed. I'm like, well, at least you've got the the manners to eat with your mouth closed. But for people that are just sitting there going, I just think, I just want to slap them. So I thought I'm not going to subject you to the same sort of thing, even though I generally eat with my mouth closed. So it shouldn't be too noisy. I still don't want you to be hearing me chew. So I thought I'd just silence it for that one. Anyway, so yeah, just sort of setting this all up, making sure it's all good. Weather's all good. Lyon's wide open, Paris is wide open, Gatwick was good as well, so no worries with weather. Fuel, I think, was still fine. Well, we used 3.6, 5.8, so yeah, what's that, about 8, yeah, 9.5 more or less. Still balanced with no leaks, so fuel's all looking good. Do a little fuel check at Gitno. 5.8, hour and 26 minutes. MSA's gone down as well now, which is good. Where are you? Somewhere. Coulommiers. Gitno. Hour and 29. Yeah, a couple of minutes ahead. There's about 900 on top of that, wasn't there? So yeah, about 5 tons more or less, and we got 5.8, which is good. Oh, it's going a bit stuttery. Not sure if that's textures or what it is, but yeah, it's getting a little bit. Alright, that's on. Let's have a quick look at the chart. I notice if you're trying to do things, if you press something, then press another button or something, it doesn't always like it, does it? Trying to do multiple things. Just be barrel laugh at the rest. Yeah. I can't even pronounce that. Misophonia. Yeah. They slurp coffee making an announcement. Yeah. So I don't really do that. I'm not drinking my drink when I make an announcement. Oh, yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? I don't know, it just irritates people. Anyway, so what we're doing is we're this little laser arrival that goes basically to the old beacon arrivals that they used to do. Standard routes, maybe by ATC. That's the other thing we probably need is should be a radar vector charts, or basically an approach chart without radar. What does it say? Has it got it? Initial approach. That's what we're going to need. So effectively, ATC would do something similar to this. So you would get to Biggin, and then you would sort of do a little S-turn, going around. So yeah, what's that minimum? 7,000 feet, probably around here, and you'd slowly sort of descend to about 3,000 feet for the ILS on one of these 2 for 27. So that's kind of what we're going to do. Hopefully we'll have ATC defectors if they're there. If they're not there, this will hopefully probably be the procedure in the box anyway, so we'll have a look at that in a second. Hopefully this will be what it does, and if that's the case and there's no ATC, we'll just basically follow it, and we'll just say we're doing the Aliso arrival and then the transition from Biggin, which is basically a non-radar, so you don't do this in reality. Who was it? Was it Dan? Is Dan still on? Dan was saying about Willow yesterday, and to be fair, the annotations on the charts of Willow wasn't very good, but this is a bit more descriptive. You know, it'd be 7,000 feet, and then you could just wind in sort of 2,000, 3,000 feet, and just leave this in managed descent, and it would just hit the constraints anyway. But you would do this if there wasn't any radar control. Now, if Heathrow didn't have radar control online, Christ, there would be carnage. But this is what you would do. So I suppose in the absence of ATC on Vatsim, you know, we'd do something similar. So all the notes looking pretty good. Continuous descent approach should be used whenever practical, so yeah, we'd do that. So basically trying to do a 3-degree descent path from 6,000 feet. Oh, that's quite good. They've got rough approximate track miles in the brackets. That's good. So 21 miles, you're looking to be about 7,000 feet. And if that's your track miles, sort of 6,000 at 17 miles, 13 miles. Yeah, just what's that? Yeah, so 3.5. So those heights are pretty consistent, really, of what we need to do. And then they're using 27 rights at the minute, so I'd guess we get 27 right. I think they change over at 3 o'clock. We're landing just before 3 o'clock local, so we're expecting 27 right, but there's always a threat there. We could get bumped onto 27 left, potentially. And this is pretty straightforward. Platform's effectively 2,500, but we could probably intercept out at 3,000. Go around on this is pretty straightforward as well. Climb straight ahead, and then passing 1,580 feet or 0 miles. So right hand turn to 316 to 3,000 feet. So that's quite straightforward. 27 left was a bit more of a threat from memory. So it says climb straight ahead and then passing just over 1,000 feet or 0 mile is whatever's later. Left hand turn to 2,000 feet. So your initial stop altitude on 27 left is 2,000 because you've got departures coming off 27 right, which are possibly going this way as well, which are climbing. So you've got to stop at 2,000 feet. And only when you're at 6 miles, then you can climb to 3,000. But yeah, the other one is, it says when passing 1,000 or 0 miles, whatever's later. Well, if you go around at 2 or 3 miles, you're already going to be above 1,000 feet. So you don't want it turning left early. You actually want it to go straight ahead. So you might have to intervene with heading on this one. But yeah, we'll discuss that if we do it. But we're expecting probably 27 right anyway. Where are you going? You're going over there. Okay. So let's have a quick look, make sure it's all in there. Darbo. In fact, sod this, it's Coulommiers, that's probably what we'll do. There's no ETC online, so I don't care. Right, Coulommiers. So there's a laser. I'm sure you've had an FO recounting the experience flying with you. Yeah, he seemed a nice guy and then really spoke to me after eating my taco salad. Yeah, yeah, be thrown down his shirt. I mean, that's the nice thing. We've got noise cancelling headsets, so so long as you turn off your interphone. When you're eating. Some people, that's usually an interphone because that allows they're both on interphone effectively. So you're basically talking to each other over the interphone, which is fine. If you're eating, as long as you turn it off, then people don't really hear so much, so it's not so bad. Anyway, what was I doing? So let's have a quick look. Look at the person points. So Aliso, Rotno, Etfax, Digger, speed limit points, and then big in. So 70 at big in, 180 at Etfax. That's what we want to see. Yeah, 180, good. Speed limit points, 7,000 feet, and okay, so it's got. Yep. So that's just straight in. So is there a via? I'm guessing there must be a via. No. Big in? Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe. No, it would be. That should be it. Dig up. That's better. So there we go. So we got big in. 70 at big in. And then we do this procedure here. So at 9 miles, 180 knots, 220. That's pretty good. That's likely to be what we are. And no, that one there. There we go, 9 miles, then this little west turn. So we'd do this, if there's no ATC online, we'd just stick to this, and we're just basically saying we're doing this sort of, you know, big in transition onto 27 right. And there's not really any other altitude constraints that I can see. No, so just leave that. I managed to send 3,000 would be fine, and then we could just intercept that about 9 miles. Which we get a nice little CDA. So that's all in. Radnavs, that's good. The ILS should tune soon. 27 right. Got loads of GPS, that's fine. Performance is good. Just found someone else to bark at. It's config 3 because it's a nice long runway. Landing's just not a problem. We know landing. Config 3 is pretty good. Go around attitudes are good. Fuel, we've got plenty of fuel to give it another go. Secondary is then, let's just put this in as well, 27 left, so we put that in via big in 2. So that's there, and it's got us on 27 left. Oi! Shut up! Oi! Settle down! Jasper! Leave it! Part your ass! Bloody dog. Right, so that's done, perf. Slightly minimums, very, very slight different minimums on 27 left. Not by much though. 277, so 1 foot difference I think. 278 on 27 right and 277 on 27 left. Discuss go around MSA 2,200, 3,000 is nice and safe around London. Don't forget the controllers. Once we land, probably aim to get off at maybe Echo 10, Echo 9, Alpha 9 Echo or Alpha 10. One of those. Can be a lot of airspace, a lot of aircraft around in the airspace, so minimum time on the runway is usually preferred. And then I expect to pass somewhere on Terminal 5, so probably Alpha 9 Echo, Alpha 10, and then Alpha. Probably along here, and then in via sort of Snapper, Rabbit, and then probably one of the stands. In fact, no, that's not the stand I want, is it? That's not the ones I want. Where's the other one? Is that the only? Where's the other bit? There's got to be another bit somewhere. That's not Terminal 5 Alpha, is it? Where's the other one? Taxiing. Parking stands continued. There it is. That's what I want. So yeah, probably in via here. Alpha Link 58 something, and then probably one of these stands up here, up there, whatever. Yeah. So that's the plan. Can look at that again before we go down. How far we got to top of drop? Pretty well, yeah. So 30 minutes, that's not too bad. Loads of time. Just enjoy the views. So probably near Lyon somewhere. I think the Lyon scenery is very good, isn't it? I haven't got that, but that should be good. Don't know, it's probably behind us. Paris off in the distance. Good. Alright, anybody, have I missed any questions? Hopefully not. There was a few questions on the stream last week and I just didn't answer any of them. I can't remember what they were. There was definitely some questions that were pretty good. But yeah, feel free to ask them or forever hold your peace. Just shut up, yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see if we can see Gav. YouTube. Just get to the normal. I was like, oh, it says somebody going to Heathrow. I was like, oh, that's me. Oh, there's Gav.
Create a professional logo that best reflects your brand. Just go.
Always take this with my mistake if we're not careful.
Is he using the new SOPs? That's what I want to know.
Where do you use that? Is that Eurowings? German things.
Should I troll his YouTube channel?
Live flight controls are checked. Punch briefing is confirmed. FOB setting is config 1. Takeoff data is 140 blue 143 rejected flight. Blue 1 FD2 flight 68.
ready for push and start. ED5 that
Transponder set.
face to the east.
No blue.
Push and start approved, facing east.
Yeah, shame, Gav, you're not using the new SOPs.
316 Missouri bar out 3926 left.
Is it the Inibuilds? I don't know what sceneries you know.
Welcome HD. No, they're not the new
Eurowings
songs.
225, contact
I haven't had
control 51
chance to, assimilate all that information just yet.
Eurowings 65, good day. ED316 Missouri via Alpha 3, land at runway 26 left.
Well, there's ACC online anyway.
Why not?
There's Gav, sounds good. So I'm not paying attention to what my aircraft's doing at all, but never mind.
Speedbird 447, ready for push and start.
Yeah, actually, HD, I'm surprised you're here. Aren't you airborne somewhere?
6474 for me, please.
Chin,
It's
Paris.
in my code, I'll try it again. I think you did.
I am, Gav. I feel like I'm talking to him, but I'm not, of course. I'm not actually talking to him. But
You're quite right, I did have a problem.
can't follow two streams and work at the same time.
Perfect. Thank you. Push start approved, face north.
Our new SOP is, I can send you them, Doug.
Nearly
Yeah.
approaching Paris. Are they on strike?
Push and start
Yeah.
approved, face north.
I finished them. There's probably a couple of spelling mistakes. I need to adjust, a couple of grammatical errors, which are a bit probably Italian. But I finished the document. It's about 150 pages long, and it's also to crew. So I've done it so it's pilot flying and pilot monitoring, because I know you asked for that a long time ago on the original ones, which I just never really got around to doing.
Just there.
But so now if shared cockpit or anything came out or anybody wanted to do that, then yeah, we can do it. So they're all done. I haven't quite released them just yet because I just wanted to tidy them. I gave them to Gav as well because I just wanted him to digest them and take them on board and just make sure they sort of made sense really before I did anything else or released them to the public. Can you send us the QRH and FCOM? Well, I don't have that. That's the thing. I haven't written that, and I don't really have that document available to send, unfortunately. So no, unfortunately not. I can't.
And Ukraine International 16 Lima is ready for taxi.
Approach path is clear.
Ukraine International 16 Lima, roger, taxi, holding point Alpha 3, runway 26 left.
Oh, you might be able to, yeah, you might be able to hear this. Anyway, I'm going to leave him to it.
Kilo November, Alpha November to hold at Alpha 3, short of 26 left, 16 Lima.
Thanks, Gav. See, yeah, later. I'll watch his takeoff. There we go. Turn the volume down a bit, so hopefully it's not quite sort of echoing.
Okay, quickly before to check this one line, can we secure the cross
So I don't think Gav's got his rudder pedals installed yet. He's got the same rudder pedals that I have, which he got given them, of all things, as well. So the Thrustmaster actually gave him rudder pedals, and he's still not bloody installed them, as far as I'm aware. It's like, if he's not going to use them, just give them to me. But I mean, I've got some anyway now. Yeah, very nice. Right, let's leave that. Let's get back off that. And right, let's have a little final chat, I think. How far we got? 20 minutes, yeah, we can probably brief it. Let's have a quick look at weather again. Make sure it's all good. It's all yeah, right page. So, arrival, just the alternate first. So, Gatwick's Cabot K is good, that's fine, no problems there. And the arrival into Heathrow is also looking good. 2008 now. It's just it's coming around a little bit. Basically, Cabot K, 24 degrees, gone up a little bit, and 1011's QNH has gone down, temperature's gone up. Let's just update that. Oh, bloody click spots. I think these shadows needs adjusting a little bit. What's the setting to improve the crispness of these sort of shadows? Anybody know the answer to that one? Could do with it just being a little bit better. Push the PC a little bit. So 1011, 24 degrees, and 200. At 8, so a little bit of a crosswind from the left. So that'd be interesting on 27 right because you get a bit of turbulence coming off the hangars. But anyway, apart from that, the weather's all looking pretty good. It's Cabot K pretty much everywhere, so it's good enough to get into the runways. The aircraft's all good, apart from weather radar. There's no other failures that are affecting the approach or landing capability. No times, nothing really I remember seeing. No cranes, but nothing really to affect us. Landing, and we'll just double check taxiways. Probably worth doing since it is Heathrow. The bright lights from a Gulf range, that should affect us. Cranes. Okay, don't fly that, that's fine. Cranes. Always a load of cranes, right, so that's fine. So there's nothing on there. Not really too many threats. Could be busy airspace, could be ATC, could be other people on Vatsim that don't know what they're doing. Hopefully we'll have control, so that'll keep us separated from everybody. And the MSAs will fine as well. 3,000 is pretty good. Imagine getting 400 quid penalties. I know, Dan. It's sacrilege, isn't it? But there you go. it's up to him. But it certainly makes, I mean, since I've had the rudder pedals, Christ, it's made so much difference just in controlling the aircraft really on the ground and everything else. But anyway, that's the big picture stuff. The flight plan's all in, we've already seen it, we've got the arrival in, we've got the constraints, we've got the procedures in via 27 left and 27 right. 27 right's the primary at the minute. India Romeo Romeo, that should be the ILS. Alright, India Romeo Romeo DME's collocated to that, which it should be, and India Lima Lima's the other one if we need it. 27 right, if we need that there. Performance is all done, it's all managed in the descents, with the speeds, weather's looking pretty good. Flap 3, lower the brake idle, reverse thrust. That's looking good as well. Fuel, we've got loads of fuel to give it another go. Secondary, we've got 27 left. We're talking about the taxiing. Coming off, Alpha 9 Echo, Alpha 10, and then somewhere over here, I'd imagine. Probably do a bit of single engine if we need to. Go around, we discussed. This one's pretty straightforward, off 27 rights. Straight ahead, then a right, then 3000s to stop for the go around on the 27 right, and if we're going off 27 left, we need to go around, it's straight ahead, and then 0 miles or 1,000 feet, whatever's later, we take a left-hand turn, 147, and then we climb to 3,000 feet, so 2,000s to stop there. I might hard tune London, actually, that might be good for a bit of situational awareness too. So you're going in. So that's pretty much it. Don't think there's much else to say. Contact shadows. Is that what it is? Mali up. Config was next. So yeah. So did I miss that? So there's a couple of things in there. Contacts. Okay. Yeah. Contact shadows. I'll do it. So I'll just do it in the sim, just increase them in the sim. I don't know, they're probably set at medium or something, but if I can get them up to high, if it all works, we'll try it. There was a fix, we're very resource heavy. Okay, well I'm not that bothered. If an alternate law, would the procedures for descent or landing be the same as normal law? Yeah, they would, Dark, pretty much. The FMGC should still work, so you shouldn't have any problems, should be able to do the calculations. I don't think you're going to lose the autopilot, you should still have the autopilot from what I remember. So yeah, I mean, you know, the arithmetic stays the same as well, you know, the descent calculation, that's all the same. You know, just with, when you're in alternate law, you just lose a few protections and a few other things, but, you know, generally there should be exactly the same principle going down. Hello, Hovelul. Sorry if I mispronounced that. Right, let's see if there's anybody else has come online. So still got London Control. Tweet 075. It says there's an ATIS online, but I don't know if there is. Better have a listen to it on box 2. Yeah, there we go. Good. So 1220, which is should be a 1250 really. They should be updating this. Go on, boys, should be in Slack. 27 left departure, 27 right transition. So yeah, probably it's 3 o'clock local there. Transition over to 27 left for the landings. 2008, no clouds, we've done all that. Making sure contact with London. So we've got Delta for the time being. How much of Paris can we see? That's Charles de Gaulle in the distance. So I wish I could adjust the tilt on this. Now when I check into London, I should do a proper British Airways accent. It's basically posh. Yeah, it does, Carl. I think that is. Yeah, I think as long as he doesn't disappear, we should get control, hopefully. But I think he's been online since I've started, so which was like 2 hours ago. So yeah, he's doing well if he's lasting that long. And I can't imagine they're going to stay on forever. But you know, the controllers generally pretty good, aren't they, in the UK? London controller style for ages normally. Yeah, well, it'd be sods law. They bloody disconnect now. I sign in going, oh, we're going now. So, on to you. Alright, let's have a set some of these. VREF or VAP even. God, I sound like a bloody Boeing person there, don't I? That's horrible. So green dot's 223 apparently. That seems a bit fast. 223. Yeah. Not entirely convinced on that. Let's have a look. What's the QHC? So VREF is 61 tons, so not VREF, green dots. Just over 200 knots. I know why. This is a problem with the sim. So yeah, green dot is not going to be 223. So it's quite good actually, because it's sort of done it in the right way. But basically, when you work out, there's a table in the QRH where you can double check these things. You can double check your weight. So if you think, oh, hang on, our speeds are quite high for this sort of weight. I mean, this weight is just dependent on what you put in the FMGC. You know, if you put a stupid weight down in here, you know, 40 for example, you know, it would probably change, or it should change this. Is it going to do it? It's not going to do it, is it? So you know, if all the figures are wrong in the FMGC, the weights down here are going to be wrong, but the speeds will actually be on the PFD anyway will be correct, so there might be a discrepancy. But 223 is not green dot. Green dot, that's our weight, will actually be about 200 knots once we get down to sort of the sort of platform altitude. But on the operating speeds in the QRH, it does say something somewhere where you basically add a knot for every 1,000 feet you're above flight level 200, I think it is. Where's it gone? Somewhere. Just trying to find it. Or have they taken it out? Have they taken it out? Yeah, they seem to have taken that line out. That's weird. I don't know why they've done that. Yeah, so you know, you basically add a knot for every 1,000 feet you're above sort of 20,000 feet. So there's probably another 16 odd knots on top of 201 or something. So I mean, that's probably pretty correct for this sort of altitude. It's 223, but which it is, you know, this altitude, that is correct, but once we descend, that will drop down to about 200 knots, I should imagine. So yeah, probably about 200 knots, 185 BS speed, and then VAPS 140 basically. Oh, you paused. There you go. Oh, it's getting a bit laggy again. Let's see, 6,000 feet below. Oh, buddy. Hello, mate. Right, it's a checklist, get them ready. No, I've got no idea when I've got to check in with this guy, probably as we approach an Laso, I guess. Matt is online for, is he tower, Carl? Oh no, he's doing London Control, yeah. Who is it? Who's the London Controller on YouTube? I've seen him a couple of times and he seems pretty competent. I don't know if he's a real world controller, but I certainly watched his streams. I mean, he's a bit full of energy, which is, you know, a bit hard work, but I suppose he's young, isn't he? Really is. But you know, he certainly seems quite competent at doing the controlling. Can't really see Charles de Gaulle much, he's behind that lot, but at least it's wide open. No idea where the Eiffel Tower is, somewhere around there, I'd imagine. Is that Jamie? Yeah, I don't know his name. So I was just wondering, one day I might actually be caught on his channel, you know. I mean, the last video I think he did when he sort of streamed controlling was like a year ago, so I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's still doing it. Alright, should be going down soon. Yeah, just under 10 minutes. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Matt's a real world controller. I don't know if he is, but I do hear, like the controllers that I hear on Vatsim, certainly around London, they are uniquely different to a lot of other controllers I hear because they actually sound like they know what they're doing. And usually when people sound like they know what they're doing, it's because they sort of maybe do it for real occasionally. Not all of them, but you know, they always do sound very competent. Shout some random music interludes, but he gets the viewers. Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm not full of energy enough. Maybe I'm too relaxed. Oh, nearly there. Yeah, I do need to up this contact shadow thing. I mean, that's looking a bit crap. Okay. No, that's not helped. For that might have. Everything else. Oh, don't press that. So why are all the lights on? I don't understand it. Should have been off. Just randomly clicking now for the sake of it. Only watch him and Chewie. So Chewie's another one. Chewie just seems to have far too much energy. And you know, it sort of offends my ears listening to that for too long. So I just can't watch it that much. I mean, there's a few people, to be fair, that you know that have a lot more subscribers to me, and you know, I'm not bad mouthing any of the other subscribers because obviously we're all doing it for the sort of same reasons, to have a bit of fun and stuff. But like some of them, I just watch and I just struggle. But you know, there's probably lots of people that say that about me. I'm trying to think. Like, I'm streaming tomorrow. Well, I should be able to stream tomorrow, and I should be able to stream Monday. Today's Monday, Wednesday. So I don't know if there's any ideas on what I can do. So I want to do something different. Like I want to do something away from the Airbus, and I do something with the Dark Star or something. But you know, is anybody going to watch that? I don't know. I don't really know what the procedures are to fly it. Well, I can fly it from A to B and go sort of supersonic, okay. But I don't know. You know, it's just fancy doing something different. I do quite fancy, actually. I want to buy. I want to buy a few things, but I haven't really got the money. But I do want to buy the 146. I want to buy the Mad Dog because I think that's a cool aircraft. So I do hopefully one day want to do some slightly different airframes. I'd quite like to fly the 747 and try and learn how to do that. But again, it's just the time. It's the time it takes to do it. You know, once you've mastered it, it's like anything. Once you're doing it, it's good. But I mean, I've never got any experience on the 747, so I don't really know what I'm doing. But I could probably teach myself a basic knowledge, as long as there was the caveat of, you know, I really don't know what I'm doing, so if I'm getting it wrong, don't blame me. But I do fancy just doing something a little bit different. Daytime only. Mainly, Carl, yeah, because the missus comes home at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you know, she sort of insists that we actually sort of spend time together. I mean, you know, God forbid that you actually spend time with the wife, but there we go. So yeah, in the morning it's a lot easier for me because I can just get going. I've got my own free time and I can sort the dog out in the morning and everything. But yeah, so it's more daytime than evening. You know, if I can stream in the evening, then yeah, it's a novelty, that is. I mean, I don't know what's happened to the missus. She's got lost somewhere probably, if that's the case. But yeah. Do some base training in the F-18. Well, I could do, yeah. But again, my throttles aren't really set up that well. I don't know what I do. I'll think about it. I mean, people can sort of suggest things on the Discord server if they want. Jamie is like Rick Sanchez on cocaine. He seems to enjoy himself a lot. But us Monties are there thinking, what the hell is he doing now? How do I make him stop? Yeah. What airline am I flying? I'm flying a British Airways today. XD. So we're doing the Nigels, going back to Heathrow. Out of this bad boy. Yeah, to be fair, my missus is pretty understanding with most things. But, you know, I do get quite limited time at home sometimes, so she does kind of insist I actually see her for more than an hour or so a day. Which, you know, is fair enough. You know, I get enough time during the day when she's at work to do this, so I think, well, you know, whilst you're at work earning some money, I can sit at home on my arse and enjoy myself doing this, as long as the PC works. What I could do is once I land, potentially, well, I don't know if I'll be in time, but then I could respawn back into Aberdeen, can I then sort of scare Gav. Do I have D-Bush? I don't know if I've got a couple of them. I can't remember which ones I've got. I had this one, a couple of the Landor ones. Is that 8K dark, the G-Bush one? I don't think I'm going to do that. I know a lot of people say they're having problems with 8K liveries. Right, last little fuel check at Abner, about 2 hours in. It's about right. Was it 210? Yeah, 210. And it's probably about 3.5, 3.6. And we got well above that 4.6. We got, yeah, a good ton. Right, let's start looking to go down. There's the Aliso, and I think what the ATC would give us, they'd give us a flight of 180 to start with, because that's the constraint. So we'll start going down to that. And let's go down in a second. So let me go down now, it's fine. There we go, managed to turn 180 blue. Get the ILS on. No, I think a few people have said that, Crumpet. I mean, this is the other thing. This is like sort of what I said about GSX. Really, is I don't spend hours a day looking at liveries and textures, you know, and sort of with a magnifying glass, and going, oh, that's a bit blurry, and the rest of it. It's, you know, it's not. I suppose it may have advantages, or it may look a little bit better on some systems. But I mean, you know, you look at that for all of a few seconds, and then you go back to doing what you're doing. So I don't know really what the differences are. At least so one hotel. Oh, I've got to put on my best British Airways accent in a minute. He wants me to speak to him. I just see Christian's name. Maybe. I don't know. Forgot what I'm doing. 35.8, I think that's what we tuned. No. Come on. Alright, he's ready to go. It is the 320 Phoenix, Kevin. Yep. I do keep saying I will fly the fly-by-wire one day. I might do that this week. Maybe one of the streams will be a fly-by-wire, because it'd be an introduction to the fly-by-wire, just so I can have a play of it. Everything on Ultra, there's a difference, but not much of a difference. Yeah, I can only dream when I own things on Ultra, but not far off ATC. No. Talk BA, you can do it. I'm sure I can, Barry. It's just going out to the public world, though, isn't it? So if I start taking the piss out of BA pilots publicly on YouTube, probably won't go down very well. Right, we're not far from a Lesu, so yeah, I'll speak to him.
40 Echo banger.
London Control, very good afternoon to you, Speedbird 61 X-Ray Mike. We're descending flight level 180 on the Lesu 1 Hotel arrival for you, friend.
261 X-ray Mike, London Control, hello, Squawk 3533, descend to flight level 180, just for your information, I do have to close in 7 minutes for a work meeting, so I'll get you as far as I can.
No worries, New Squawk 3533 for Speedbird 61 X-Ray Mike.
The 8327 route.
See, I knew he wouldn't last. I knew he'd be gone. 5-3.
Route direct hard easy.
Oh, come on, 3533, done.
London Control, Speedbird 834 IFR2.
A works meeting. Like, just tell him to wait half hour. I've got priorities.
Aircraft type and stand number.
Aircraft type A320 and stand 520. Speedbird 834.
So 834, thanks, cleared. Dublin, Compton 3 Golf departure. Squawk 4437.
He's a tad quiet, this guy, but there we go.
Got the Squawk 4437 and say again the SID.
Compton 3 Golf, Charlie Papa Tango 3 Golf.
Right, place your bets.
Charlie Papa Tango 3 Golf.
Will we get to be on the ground? Will we actually land?
Left. Speedbird 834.
I would say there's about a 1 in 3 chance at the minute, but I'm just being pessimistic.
Heathrow ground, Air Canada 152 requesting
Union Redmond 10. Oh, the Union Kuwait car.
Runway 27.
Air Canada 152 taxi holding point Sierra 1, runway 27.
It depends, is it a disciplinary, is it a serious matter, in which case it probably can't.
Copy. Hold taxi and hold Sierra 1.
Have faith, yeah. We'll see. We'll take it nice and easy, J-Hog. No, it's not serious, fair enough.
Easy 8327, nothing further from me. Continue with Unicorn 122 left flight. Have a good flight.
122.8, easy 27. Good flight.
421.
Oh, it's children talking over each other again. Yeah, spit it out. Come on.
We're at 242. Well, just in future, please don't climb above your assigned level, just because we've got so much inbound and outbound traffic here that's not going to work. Maintain, or actually climb flight level 8 for 0.
November Kilo, Sierra 2421, climb and maintain flight level 8.
So at 2421, just, what's your destination airport?
Frankfurt Main International Airport.
And what was your SID that you were cleared on?
Doesn't even know what that means, does he?
Could you say that again? I can't quite get that.
Yeah, probably Dan.
What was your cleared SID?
Sid, what's that? Isn't he from Ice Age?
Connect. Okay. Ryanair 000, contact Gatwick director 126825.
Not saying anything. If they're competent, I don't mind. It's all about competency. And they got to learn somewhere. We've all got to learn somewhere. I'm sure I was useless when I started flying. So. It's all a learning process.
Speedbird 834, stand 520, push and start.
Speed 834, stand 520, push and start approved, face east. I will be closing in 3 minutes.
Push and start approved, face east, speedbird 834.
Does anybody else watch all the sort of reels from YouTube? There's so many fascinating things on there. Somebody done an ice cube with like a hexagon shape. It's kind of cool.
Use full radio check. Golf Bravo Fox Lima, inform London Patrol. Hello, your readability is 5, pass your message.
I'm just checking, do we still need a flight plan if we're going to be doing a VFR flight?
If you're a VFR flight outside the controlled airspace, no, you won't need to file one.
Roger that.
Bit of flight yesterday, Vatsim, what's that? Posh houses, Edinburgh, Dublin. Oh Christ, nice, yeah. I mean, you know, Vatsim's better than the default stuff, Chris. You know, that's the thing. I mean, you know, what's the other option? I don't know. I've seen, is it Ivaya, whatever you pronounce it, but I saw a video of somebody using that going into Copenhagen, and they landed him on 2-2 right. And I'm like, oh, that's what I've been cleared. It's like, you never use 2-2 right to land in Copenhagen. So, I mean, they were pretty bloody useless. So I can put up with this.
Ground, Air Canada 152, holding short, runway 27.
Air Canada 152, hold position after departure. Left-hand VFR circuits, not above altitude 1,300 feet, QNH 1011, squawk 7010.
Squawk 7010.
Okay, I need a full read back on the clearance, please.
Okay, sorry about that. I'm really new to this, so I'm not sure how to do that exactly.
Just repeat what he said to you in the first place.
You would read back basically what we've said
what
to
you say. If I say clear to do this, you say clear to do that. Oh, bless his cottons.
Sorry, I just didn't catch all of it, and I wasn't really writing it down.
It's like a game of Simon Says, mate. When I say something, you just read it back, and you say what I
position.
said.
After departure, runway 27 left, left-hand VFR circuits, not above altitude 1,300 feet, QNH 1011.
Fake AI. Yeah, it's, well, you know, horses for courses, Chris, whatever works for you.
I'm sorry, man. I'm going to need more practice before I do this. Have a good day.
Alright.
Yes, like, yeah, right. See you later. Bye. You know, don't forget, I've got the benefit of doing this for real. So, you know, speaking to somebody else on a radio on Vatsim is not particularly
Spark 9,
bad for me.
I'm
It's
just in
fine.
the process of closing up, so we've got a work meeting in 5 minutes. So consider the Unicom 122, that's right.
Right, so
one extra remark. Nothing further from me. He's got a couple of aircraft inbound to Heathrow. One looks like he's jumped in the corner at Logan, but you probably end up number 2 behind that traffic.
yeah, no worries. We're just going to do the full procedure from Biggin, just the non-radar approach. So we'll just carry on to center of the profile, and we'll do the non-radar approach to 27 right, speedbird 61 X-ray. Mike, have a good day.
Thank you, take care. London broadcast 131, correction 1331 Zulu. London is now closed. I'm on Unicom 122, that's right.
Right, 7,000. Ciao. 7,000 done. Unicom.
What's up?
Done. Thrust out descent 70 blue. So we'll do this procedure like we said and we briefed. Evo traffic speedbird 61 X-ray Mike. We are to the southeast, approaching Biggin, and we're going to plan to do the full procedure from Biggin for the ILS approach to 27 right. We should be there in about 10 minutes. Nobody cares. Right, let's get the little girls and the boys in the back all ready to sat down for the landing. So, where's my chart? So, 70 is the clearance limit. Well, no ATC now anyway, so we can go beyond that, but 70 is the constraints. And where's my chart? That one. That's what I want. From here, after Biggin, we shall just basically put in 3,000, just leave it managed descent. We can just go down there, configure. Speed constraints are probably in, I think, probably flat 1, yeah, 180 knots, probably going to be a flat one there, 180 before we get to 9 miles, and then just go around the corner for the ILS. Hello, buddy. Oh, you got your horn. Hello, mate. Yeah, we might have a... So just chew that. We're playing a bit. So we've got Lufthansa. That might beat you. Possibly beat you. There's a Lufthansa, and we might be... I don't know if it is... A Lufthansa 104, you on Unicom? No, he's not either. I'll tell you what, right, revise the plan, we might just go straight in, because I'm sure there's a Lufthansa over here, which we can probably cut in. So we go big in, straight ahead, 3000. So I'll pull head in, extend the sense line, go to that 3000, we'll probably beat him in. So if we just go 270, open descent, let's activate the approach phase. Well, we got track mileage, or roughly 36 miles, so we're just about on profile. Got to slow down as well. So it starts getting a bit jerky. And the inbound course 269. Okay. Heathrow traffic, speedbird 61 X-ray Mike. We're revising our plans. We're going to go big in and then to the northwest for a straight-in approach 427 right. See you later, Carl. Yeah, Barry, there's no problem with people learning. It's you know, it's fine. That's not the frustrating thing, is it? I think it's when people maybe jump in a little bit deeper than what they should do, perhaps. Alright, 250 knots. Let's get the lights on, get these on as well. Let's go in heading. Oh, there he is. Lufthansa 104, you on Unicom?
Heathrow?
How far away are you from Heathrow?
It's 96 miles.
96? 96?
96 is our way distance, yes.
Oh, okay, I've got about 25 miles to go to the actual threshold, but I think you're off to the right hand side, so I'm just going to go straight ahead. I'm from the southeast, so I'm just going to go on a heading of 310 to intercept the localizer. I don't believe you're 96. You're looking at the wrong fucking number, mate. You've probably got about 40 at the most. Alright, 24 still, maybe a little bit higher. Let's just get some speed brakes out, kill some fairies. So if we can go... that's... what do we say? It's 069... 289... Going down. 1000 is safe. Set QNH 1011. Approach checks. Barrow QNH 1011 is set. Seatbelts are on. Minimums Barrow 278. Sort of brake is low, and EFB is slowed and disconnected. Right, let's tidy you up. better.
Still holding up Bravo, now taking off on the
312. 220. Looks like it's probably going to be working out quite nicely. Let's just go north. Right, 17 miles, 5,000 feet, so I'm happy with that. We're looking pretty good. Let's go VS. Manage speed. Good, glycerol's above us, that's looking good. Reduce that. So an intercept about 300 degrees should work. Let's go flap 1, speed's checked. Flap 1. 80 knots. The RLS, Glycerol Lock Blue, Cat 3 Dual AP 1 and 2. Try and get a CD out of it. 2,500 technically is the platform, which is safe. Lockstar. Heathrow traffic speed with 61 X-ray Mike, we're localised to establish 27 right, we are at 50 miles. Yeah. He did disappear pretty quickly, didn't he? Interesting, what does green dot say now? 206, yes, that's more realistic. It said 221 in the air at like 36,000 feet, but that was rubbish, so yeah, 206 is actually more realistic. Right, winds from the south, we're expecting that. That's all good, that's done. Overhead's looking good. Do we dare have a look outside the window? Poor old Queenie. A little bit blocky in it, it's not quite, I don't know. Definition on the buildings is looking a little bit funny. There we go. Here's what it is. As long as we don't crash. Right, glide slope start. 3,000 is the missed approach. Let's go flap 2. Speed's check flap 2. 160 to 4 is what they like. Good, the banner's working, isn't it? So if we get a landing rate out of it. Oh, come all this way, hoping for what you call it, ATC, and they bugger off. So there's still somebody on VATS. He's just turned his transponder off, probably. Oh, there he is. He's just reappeared off to the south. And he said he was 96 miles away. Obviously. Right, radio altimeter is alive. Going for my type rating next month. What should I be doing? Well, hopefully you've got your flight crew training manual and FCOM to share, so read that. I mean, type rating, you'd be doing a lot of emergencies, so you'd be doing that ready for the type rating, so all sorts of failures, so just try and read as much about the failures as possible, really, and you should have a sim partner to go through it together. But you'll be taught everything, don't worry too much, just try and go into each lesson prepared. That's the sort of main advice, and we know the guys that are prepared and not prepared and have done their homework. It's usually pretty obvious. Oh, see, that's pretty, innit? I should get the gear down. But now I'll do a firearm away, but so I'll just rather look out the window. Alright, flap 3, that's a landing check, there's spoilers. Eva traffic, speedbird 61, X-ray Mike, 4 miles, 27 right to land. 4 miles, manage speed, landing checks, cabin secure for landing, going altitude 3000 set, and Ecomo is landing, no blues. So hopefully no silly sods on the way. What's the speed looking like? Yeah, 134, yeah, maybe another knot, 140. So we got it. Right, in my best BA voice, this is me.
$500.
Stable. Alright, watch the turbulence coming off the hangars off the left.
100 above.
Here it
Minimum.
is.
100. 50. 30. 20. Retard.
Flare usually helps. Spoilers, reverse green, decel. That was a bit painful, wasn't it? Alright, manual brakes. I don't know, I've got a 4 mile long runway and I smash it in. Heathrow traffic, speedbird 61 X-ray Mike, runway vacated, taxi into Terminal 5 Alpha. No one cares. You're off, you're off. Not that one, that one, that one. You're off, you're off.
Just 104 establish ILS, runway 27 right.
That's off. That's off. I think I've done everything else. Because I was flying British Airways, yeah. I went to flare then and just not much happened. I was like, oh, well, it's too late now, isn't it? Just take what I've got. Right, I think I've done everything. Yeah, that's all done. That's done. That's off. Flaps. Yeah, good. So in via here, and probably just one of the stands, don't really matter which one it is. Right, after this we can do the AIG stuff, I think. I'll try and do that on the stream, obviously, but I'll try and get it in. If Dark's still around, I'm going to have to pick your brains on it, I think. Is it AIG Manager? So I just Google AIG Manager, I'm sure it'll come up. We'll see what Gav's actually got on the... See, we basically converged at exactly the same point. When I asked him how many miles he had, he said something like 96 miles. It's like, well, I'm only 40, so there's no way you're 96 miles if we end up in the same bit of airspace at the same time. There we go. As soon as this is my base, and you know I'm British Airways, I have you know, right of passage. So sorry, buddy. Right, should we go on the south side because there's a bit more sun that side, isn't it? So it might be a bit of a better photo. Yeah, found someone else to bark at. Avgeek is a good one. Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm sure there's loads of stuff, isn't there? No, he's off. Oh well, as long as he's entertained. Right, brake fans. I don't have brake fans. There we go, so I have to leave that alone. All we need now is the guidance to work. And I don't know, is it work in Brussels, the Brussels scenery? But I mean, there's got to be an add-on some point which gives us guidance. I'd like to think so, anyway. Alright, down here, right. Let's go 521. That'll do, on the corner. So there, Barry. Yeah, I might join at some point as well, and you know, make fun of him, do something. I'll take the piss out of his landing. Well, it can't be that much worse than mine. So. What was it? Minus 331 or something ridiculous? I don't know. Have a competition, see if he can get a worse one than me. Right, 520. And the good news is the sim survives. So APU's good, taxi lights off, brake pressure's good. So yeah, I'm definitely convinced it was the rolling cash was the issue. 521, that looks clear. Not going to worry about single engine now. Stands clear. Come on, girl. Up you go. That will do. Parking brake is on. Pressure's good. About 3 minutes. And shutting the engines down. That's good. Doors. See, normally you would disarm the doors before anything else, but I don't think they disarm now until the seatbelts come off, and then I think they disarm the Phoenix. Yeah, with 10%. That's done. $2,000. Check that, check that. There you go. Doors disarmed. Everything's done. Yeah, I think I've done everything. Good. Well, that's it, guys. That's welcome to Heathrow. Smooth about, yeah. Need to install VG. Oh, has it got it? Is it? Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look at that. Minus 336. Yeah, that was shocking, wasn't it? That was pretty poor. But there we go. I don't know. I tried a flare at about 30 feet, and it just didn't do much. So I don't really know why. It's, you know, a bit of a crosswind, but just, I mean, to be honest, sometimes the aircraft does that. It just, you know, you go to flare, and then it just sort of goes, nah, I'm alright, cheers, mate, and you just go, no, can you? And then by then it's too late, and you're at the ground. So, yeah, kind of realistic. Sometimes you just get a crap landing. But right, so let's open new forward stairs. Get all these off. Packs will probably come on. Yeah, there we go. I shall leave it like that. Heathrow. Yeah, try and get a decent picture. That'd be alright, wouldn't it? Something like that. Cool, thanks guys. Thanks for joining in. Any questions, put them in the comments, ask me on the Discord, usual sort of stuff. If I missed anything, once you've installed the VGC Act on airports, that's a good question, Chris. Yeah, I need to look into that. But yeah, off to Gavs. Yeah, let's all go to Gav's stream. Let's all troll him now. And let's just say I got a brilliant landing. Let's say I got minus 20 FPS, you know, rated descent or something, and see if we can do better. But yeah, see you later. I'll see you on Gav's stream. I'll probably disconnect and I'll join over. So cheerio. See you later, guys.